James. Inside row 4. Outside row 5. Great. John underway for a slow rolling lap start. She's about to embark. Inside row 8. 21. Neil Briggs. Inside row 9. 53. 22. The defending world champion. Ethan underway. 5 only. Sandy Clark is outside row 11. Racing at 515 genuine and has slowed through turns 1 and 2. Was the world champion Des Chandler. And 23. And John Lloyd is temperate once again. And he's going to have to stand on Neil Briggs. And that's all the road. The 23rd. 52. 53. John Wood. And we have the yellows with the starter. And of course it's on Andy Clark. And it's right for 5. Frankie Raymond. 53. John Wood. Guys, on the top word, because number 2 is all the way by. And the leaders are standing on every. And we've got another one all over. 1, 2, 8, John White. And it's 5 for the lead with just 2 laps to go this time. What will Frankie Raymond Jr. do? As John Wood will be for the air. Cheering for all they were. And what will Frankie Raymond Jr. do? As the defending world champion, 53, John Wood will take this afternoon's semi-final race.
Starting today's Hartlepool semi-final on inside row 7 is Long Eaton-based driver John Wright, number 1 to 8. John, not really at home on the tarmac surfaces in 1992, only had a couple of outings at the Northampton and Birmingham qualifying rounds, where he did finish in the top 10, although he was never really up there challenging the front runners. However, John's not despondent about his chances on the harder surface. He's certainly been giving today's race a lot of thought, and he's fairly confident about his chances.
At the Hartlepool semi-final this afternoon, starting on inside row 7, we've got blue top 1 to 8, John Wright. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon.
Now, it's a long way up from your home base down in Long Eaton. How long did it take you to get up this afternoon for this afternoon's meeting?
About 3 hours. That's not too bad. At least we made it this time.
And when was the last time you were here?
Start of 1990, I think. It didn't go bad then, but hopefully it goes well today.
Not a track that holds any sort of foreboding for you then, is it? You able to find the quick way around here?
I better find a dictionary, I think, first. We've done well here before, won the final and things, but that was before the rot setting with a lot of money being spent, so hopefully it'll go well today. We've done a few alterations to the car, but we'll see how it goes.
You haven't actually had the opportunity to race much tarmac this year, have you?
No, we tried a few specifically for here, but we didn't have much joy. But we've altered it around a bit more, but this is different to any other tarmac track, so there wasn't a lot we could do.
What was your last tarmac meeting?
Birmingham qualifier, I think.
Any joy?
Picked up a place in the heat, but it's well off the pace. It's a case of getting the revs right, really, with it being a not very powerful engine, but hopefully this Birmingham's a bit long for it. It should be right here today.
Yeah. And of course, you did make your own little part of history when the last semi-final was contested here in 1986.
If that's what you call it, history. Yeah, it was lucky that time. Starting from about where we started today, we ended up leading coming out the first bend. But hopefully, if they do that today, I'll finish a bit higher up than I did eventually.
Do you get nervous when it comes to semi-final day?
Only when you're interviewing me. No, I've been doing it that long. It doesn't really worry me. I wouldn't be nervous. I'd just be disappointed if I don't make it. So there's always Long Eaton.
Any surprises for your contingent of fans when you go out on your parade lap?
Yeah, I'm going out naked.
That'll certainly be something to see. Well, John, we'll have to see how you get on this afternoon. Thank you.
Right, thanks very much.
Inside row 5 today at Hartlepool is occupied by number 97 Murray Harrison, who's really leapt to stardom in 1992, jumping from yellow to superstar in the first regradings of the season and landing his first ever major title on the tarmac at Skegness when he won the BSCDA Trust Fund Classic event, a race that featured most of the top 20 drivers in the country. Murray is currently racing from red top. He did come up to Hartlepool once earlier in the season when he was racing from yellow and certainly did very well indeed. Must be fairly confident about his chances in the semi-final today.
Good afternoon on inside row 5. We've got Kettering driver number 97 Murray Harrison. Good afternoon, Murray.
How are you, alright?
Not so bad, but how's yourself? That's more to the point.
We're quite good. Confident.
No jitters or nervous feeling before today's race?
Not yet. Probably another couple of hours maybe. I might start to get a bit worried then, but at the moment we're all right.
Now, you've certainly put in your results on both shale and tarmac this year. You've been up to Hartlepool earlier on this season. What do you think to this track?
Not a lot. Don't really like it. There's not enough room for a big meeting like this. It's going to cause a lot of trouble. There's going to be a lot of pushing out there, I'm sure. There's just not room for an error or anybody else doing anything silly in front of you, because it's just, you're just going to go with them.
Had you been up before racing here earlier this season, in previous years?
No, not previous. So our first visit, beginning of the season.
So your very first heat was the one that you went straight in the fence post, was it, after a couple of laps?
Yep, yeah, I got took in halfway down the straight, but there you go, you learn.
Now, starting from the middle of the grid, how do you think the race is going to develop?
I don't know. It'll either be total chaos or it'll be quite roundy. I think it's got two choices. There's all speculation of who's going to do this, who's going to push, who's going to bang people away on the first bend. Obviously the front runners are expecting it. They're going to be going into that first bend fairly slow. So there's going to be a lot of pushing, and I think it's going to be the midfield cars that probably come out suffering the most. But, don't know, wait and see.
Now, all around the circuits this year, you've proved the reliability of your 350 Chevrolet engine. Do you think the small engine is quite suited to a small track such as this?
It's basically down to gearing, like whichever engine you use at the end of the day, if you gear it to the track right, it'll work. We're well pleased with the engine. It's been brilliant all year. We've had not a lot of problem with it. Just hope that it holds out for the rest of the season.
So the engine's been going out. How about the front bumper? I noticed that you're having to reinforce it somewhat. Is that specially for today?
No, not really. That wasn't quite planned. That was a bit of a hiccup last night. But no, bumper's there. That's the name of the game, We're not scared of using it, that's for certain. So we just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, let's wait and see, Murray. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Okay.
Today. Outside row 2 today goes to Hinkley-based Des Chandler, number 213. Last time he was in a northeastern semi-final at Aycliffe. He surprised us all by coming through to finish second to Nigel Wharton, number 422 in 1989, and then went on to a rostrum finish in the Coventry World Final, coming home third behind Peter Fording and Ray Tilsley. So happy memories in the northeast for Des. What does he think about his chances at Hartlepool today?
Yet another Midlander contesting this Hartlepool semi-final is Hinkley-based driver number 213, Des Chandler. Good afternoon to you, Des.
Good afternoon. All right.
Not so bad, thank you. Now, Hartlepool. What do you think?
Well, the last time I came up was 1986, and it's not changed much, so I'm hoping I can get round. Well, I don't know. We shall have to wait and see.
Now, an interesting angle I thought about this for talking to yourself would be the fact that last time you contested a semi-final in the northeast of England was at Aycliffe. On that afternoon you started on outside row 2, same as you're doing today, and you surprised a good many people.
Certainly did. I mean, I surprised myself, really. I've never been there before. It was a total surprise to finish second. I'd like to do it again today, but there's a lot of opposition and there's a lot of guys out there that have raced before around Hartlepool, so I've got my fingers crossed in a good finish. We'll see.
Now, have you made any particular preparations to the car in light of the fact that it's a tight, tricky circuit?
Well, not really. I mean, the only preparation we had was yesterday afternoon. At Bradford, we sustained heavy damage to the rear end of the car, and we've been working on it well into the early hours every night, right up until, Friday, and then we've worked on it all day Saturday, so it's been set up in the workshop. We should have to see how it goes. If it doesn't go round, it's Bill's fault.
Well, we've got that on tape now, haven't we? So you've just taken all your measurements out of the little black book, have you?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in light of the fact that you've had to work so hard on the car this week, it was all down to that incident you did have at Bradford. Do you want to just go over that for us and just tell us how you feel?
Yeah, well, I'm still aching a little bit. I'm not quite sure what happened. From what the lads were saying, I hit the fence backwards and then either drove out or rolled out in front of Les Spencer, who hit me flat out, and that was the last I remember until halfway down the motorway when somebody else was driving. I wasn't here.
It was tremendously hard, a lot of people were very worried for you.
Yeah, I didn't realise how hard it was until there's so many people come up and ask me how I feel, And you then obviously reflect back and think, Christ, it must have been hard, because I mean normal shunts for stock cars, you just ignore them. But a lot of people have been concerned. A lot of people phoned me up on Monday to see how I was.
Because being hit on the side is always probably one of the worst ways to be hit, isn't it, really?
Yeah, put me straight out apparently. It's a good job. I probably would have been a bit frightened sitting there in the middle of the track, but I mean it put me straight out.
But as the old saying goes, stock cars is stock cars, and you're back out ready to contest a very hard-fought semi-final this afternoon.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cracking race for the public. I really do. It'll be a super race, but it'll be a hard one for the drivers. 24 cars, there's only 10 finishers, so somewhere along the line there's a few cars got to go by the wayside. I hope I'm not one.
Is there any tactics that you're going to bring into play?
Been thinking about them all week. I think basically it's when the green flag drops, you just got to go for a gap and hope that there's one opens up. Hartlepool's always very difficult. I remember the last one in '86. I mean, that was horrendous. I just hope there's not a replay. If there's a replay, I'm in the fence.
And finally, as for pre-race nerves, any?
I've not had any really, to be honest. I've been too busy on the car. I must admit, now I'm here, I'm wandering around a little bit and getting a bit nervous. So I think I will do. Yeah. I mean, there's another, well, another hour before the race, so I think it might creep up on me.
Okay then, Des. Fingers crossed.
Thanks very much.
Good luck.
Cheers, Rob.
Frankie Wayman Jr. 515 starts the race today on outside row 1, but even that start was doubted by many people a couple of weeks ago when Frankie Wayman Jr. had a road accident. Before that, however, Jr. had been firm favourite with the crowd and winning many races up and down the country all season, including the Coventry Stage British title. However, his chances in the Hartlepool semi must be affected by that road accident where he incurred a broken arm, and Rob Hughes now asked Jr. about that broken arm.
Outside row 1 is number 515, Frankie Wayman Jr., a man whose ability is completely unquestioned. But probably the main talking point surrounding this afternoon's race is going to be your fitness, Frank.
Yeah, I broke my arm about a month ago now. I had a big metal plate put in there to stitch the bone back together. First meeting last night, the arm felt really good. No problems from it at all. I was taking it steady like for the first race, but after that it did feel really good, so I think it should be okay today.
Did that come as a surprise to you?
No, ever since I've done it, it's felt really good. You know, I've always been able to use it, and it's got better and better, and now it's just, when I'm racing, it's actually as if nothing's been done. You can't feel anything. It's just as normal. It's just when I sort of hit things or something moves, you tend to just like
You get a twinge.
take it off wheel, or you get so I think it should be alright.
So obviously that is putting a power of confidence in yourself for today. Now, is that going to reflect in the manner in which you're going to contest this race this afternoon?
I don't know. I don't really know how the race is going to go. It could go two ways. It could be a really good steady race, or it could be a really rough race. It's anybody's guess to which way it's going to go. Obviously, I'll just cope with it whichever way it does go.
Because originally, when you first had your accident, you were thinking of simply contesting the race in order to more than likely proceed on to the consolation semi-final at Long Eaton. But this time round, particularly in light of how you did go last night, you're going to really put on the full show.
Yeah, I don't know where that's actually come from, because I've never said that I'd pull out. There's no race that I'd go in that I'd pull out of, unless there's something wrong with the car. If I wasn't fit, I wouldn't go in it.
Right.
So that's how it is.
Do you still get nervous, even at the top of the sport now?
Yeah, you always get nervous.
Do you think that's more of a case on a semi-final occasion as opposed to the world final, or?
Yeah, semi-finals are the real nerve-wracker, because the world final, you're there, it's the big race, you're in it. It doesn't really matter what you do, you're in it. But the semi-finals, there's a lot hangs on the semi-finals as to where you go.
But no pre-race tactics, just simply put your man into overdrive, and as soon as you get the green flag, it'll be straight into automatic pilot, will it?
Yeah, the place I'm starting from, I can't actually dictate the way the race is going to go. I aren't in a place to set the pace, or there's certain places on the grid where you can rule how the race is going to be run, and I'm not in one of them. But we'll just have to see how it goes, I think.
Do you think it's going to be a case on the first bend, and after you, George, sort of way, when you see John on the inside of you, or?
I don't know. John's has been struggling around here all year. I think he'll have it up together today. He always manages to get it together on the important occasions, but I think if he goes, I'll just follow him and just stop behind him.
Whereas you, with this car, particularly earlier this season, you've been going so fast as to even try and successfully pass cars on the outside. Now, with you being on the outside of the grid, perhaps?
Yeah, when the green flag goes, I don't know. It depends how John is at the start. He isn't the best of starters. If I get the break, I'll go. But if not, then I'll just have to try and find my way in somehow. Where whoever will let me in or where the gap appears.
So fingers crossed a front row start for Bradford then?
All being well, hopefully, yeah.
So this time he's going to be confident all the way?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay then, Frank, thanks very much for your time.
Ta-ra.
Starting today on inside row 2 in the big race is number 2, Paul Harrison. Paul certainly knows how to drive the short tarmac ovals, as he's shown on the East Coast at Skegness this year already, landing a grand final to go with the 3 finals and also the track championship that he won on the East Coast last season. Paul starts in behind John Lund and Junior Wayman. Maybe he'll go for the big one on turn 1, who knows, but it's certainly a position favoured by many drivers, the inside row 2 slot. We talk to Paul now about his chances in today's big race.
Inside row 2 is popularly conceived as the most popular starting position in any sort of semi-final race, and the gentleman who's got that particular starting slot is number 2, Paul Harrison from Rotherham in Yorkshire. Good afternoon, Paul.
Hello.
You're certainly looking the professional part as a Formula 1 stock car driver for this afternoon's event. Do you think inside you're feeling as professionally keyed up for today's race?
I'm alright really, I don't get too nervous at big events. I know you can say it's just another race, although it is an important one. It's bigger to me than actually getting to the World Final and the nerves and everything, because you've got to get there in this race. Once you're there, it's just like do or die, isn't it? But this one's the one that counts as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's the sudden element part of it that can have a bearing on it, isn't it?
That's right, you've worked hard through your qualifying rounds to get your place on the grid, and then it's just, as you say, it's just a case of a 4 or 5 minute race to get it all over and done with and try and get through.
Now, do you agree with the conception that inside row 2 is a favoured starting place, particularly in light of the fact that the race is being here at Hartlepool today?
Well, I know that's what they say in general, but it didn't do second row inside starter much good at Skegness last year, and I think it was the same outcome for the last semi-final at Hartlepool, the person that started there. So on recent form on tight tarmac tracks, it's not been the case, has it?
Does that mean that you're going to have a tentative approach to the opening couple of laps?
It means I'm just going to see and wait and see what happens when that green flag drops. It's easy to say what you're going to do, it's just that so many things can happen when the green flag does actually go down. I just play it by ear.
And are you happy with your tarmac form this year?
My tarmac form's not been too bad. I think it was better last year. My shell form has gone out of the window considerably. I've been doing terribly on shell, so Bradford's not much to look forward to even if I do qualify. But I think I'm there in the top few on tarmac, so there's a very good chance that I should be in there in a good position at the end of the race.
Okay then, Paul, thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
So what can be said about our inside row 1 starter today? 53, John Lund, the 3 times world champion, defending that title at Bradford this year, should he get through this big hurdle at Hartlepool today, of course. And John's certainly been in devastating form at the Odsal circuit this year, as we see it on screen now, as he certainly removes Les Spencer, number 98, in no uncertain terms in the Grand National event a couple of months ago. John had won the Grand Final on this night and went on to win the Stocksline sponsored Grand National event. However, John got the big one at Skegness last year from a similar starting position. Must be worried about a similar fate today. Certainly going very quickly around the circuit in practice, hopefully quick enough, Lund supporters will say, to get away from the inevitable turn 1 shunt. Rob Hughes talks to John on his return from that practice session.
Well, we've got to finish our interviews with the man on pole position, the defending world champion, number 53, John Lund, who's just come back from his practice session. How did you think it went, John?
Not brilliant.
Now, Frankie Wayman Jr. has said in his interview that he thinks that you're possibly not as quick as you could be round Hartlepool. What do you think of that?
I don't know, perhaps he's right.
And he's also said that it's a race where he might have to take an after you, George, sort of approach to it, and quite possibly he might let you go. He's pleased with his hand, but you know, his results reflected that of Coventry last night. Do you think the pressure's off you somewhat in the way that he's going to try and take his race?
I don't know, you can't really say what you're going to do because you don't know what's going to happen behind you, you know.
World champion 3 times. Do you still get nervous when it comes to occasions like this?
No, not really. I'm glad when they're over though.
Are you glad of Hartlepool being your draw?
Not particularly, no. It's not really my favourite place.
It's going to be very hectic again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not revelling that pole position start then, I take it?
Well, you have to start somewhere, don't you?
That's a true comment, yes, definitely. But obviously going to be on the pace, even though you might not consider yourself to be as good. I mean, like, you're a perfectionist, aren't you, really? So
I'll see how it goes. That's all we can do, isn't it?
okay then, John, thank you very much for your time.
Right, thank you.
Daniel Harter won the white and yellow top event earlier on this afternoon. He's looking to double that race win if he can, and the green flag drops, and we are away in racing in Brisca, Formula 1, heat number 1. It is Daniel Harter leads them through the top turn for this first time, getting a good breakaway from 158 Ray Houston in that second place. Down the back straight they go for the first time. In third is 133 Andy Flanagan, and in fourth is 407 Craig Smith, swerving that car around the home straight for the first time. And we have 275 in the bottom turn fence through turns 3 and 4. 393 negotiates that little bit of a problem, and we've got a pile up on the top turn. 64 Kev Smith tangles with the 115 car. That's also held up the progress of 86 David Tolson as the leaders are already hurtling through. It's number 4 leading them through up the road from 158 in second place, and in third is 133. The White Tops are holding station, making good their progress from the front of the grid. And first to show of the Blue Tops is 202 Richard Mason. He's in that 4th place, and he goes through turns 1 and 2. Closing down the 133 car, Anthony Flanagan sees the gap on the inside and moves up into 3rd place. Lying in 5th at the moment is 413 Matthew Bennett. And he likewise is closing down the 133 car. And down the home straight to complete yet another lap is 422 Nigel Wharton, moving through the bottom turn once again. He's lying in 6th at the moment, closing down the gap between himself and 413 Matt Bennett. Looks for the inside line, which has shut the door quite quickly on him by the Matthew Bennett machine. But this time he's through. So let's pick up the leaders now. It's number 4, Daniel Harter, who's got a very big lead of a half a lap ahead of 202 Richard Mason in second place. Up to third now is 422 Nigel Wharton, and in fourth is 413 Matthew Bennett. Down the back straight goes Wharton, and in through the turns 3 and 4. He's chasing after 202 Richard Mason at this moment as 262 Ian Briggs spins out on the top turn. So as expected, the race has been thick and fast with action, and this is only Brisca Formula 1 Heat 1. The main event is going to be the next one on your programme. And 202 Richard Mason negotiates the back marker of 158 Ray Houston with 422 Nigel Wharton looming close in his mirrors. This is the battle for second place. Down the back straight, bumpers going in from 422. He eases his way through quite carefully there, and Wharton goes into second place. Daniel Harter in car number 4 is being bulled by the back markers, and he's trying to negotiate number 133 Anthony Flanagan. He does so, but being bulked by those back markers has helped 422 Nigel Wharton with his race progress, and he is only just a 5th of a car length in arrears from car number 4. Down the back straight they go, and Wharton has got number 4 in his sights this time round through turns 3 and 4 with just 5 laps to go this time. Daniel Harter leading them through from his white top start with 422 Nigel Wharton getting ever so close. In third is still 202 Richard Mason, and up to fourth this time is 73 Rob Cowley. With just 4 to go this time, Wharton is looking from the inside line. Daniel Harter's gone wide through turns 1 and 2, and Wharton takes the lead. Twitches that car through turns 3 and 4. Puts the power down on the loud paddle, and it's just 3 to go this time for 422 Nigel Wharton. 202 Richard Mason is looking to take that second place from number 4 Daniel Harter. Through turns 3 and 4 they negotiate. Harter goes wide and down the home straight to complete. Just 2 to go this time, and 202 Richard Mason is up into that second place. Down to third then is number 4 Daniel Harter, and having a lonely race. In fourth is 73 Rob Cowley. In fifth and about to be lapped with just one to go this time is 413 Matthew Bennett. One goes through and he's just got this last bend to negotiate to take a comfortable race win. The checker flag goes up and down to 422 Nigel Walton. Unofficial places look to be for 202 Richard Mason in that second place, and coming home a very good third was number 4 Daniel Harter, who's making his race debut in his Formula 1 stock car here at the Hartlepool Raceway and making very good his progress. Once again Nigel Walton displays his tarmac prowess here at the Hartlepool Raceway as the crowd give him a good cheer through turns 3 and 4. Obviously looking delighted with his race victory.
Full results to Heat 1, and that was won by 422 Nigel Walton. In second was 202 Richard Mason, and third place went to number 4 Daniel Harter. In fourth it was 73 Rob Cowley. Fifth place went to 413 Matthew Bennett. In sixth it was 215 Jeff Nichols. Seventh place went to 393 Michael Smith, and in eighth was 133 Anthony Flanagan.
There we have, starting on inside row 3, number 417 Mike James, all the way up from Cornwall this afternoon to take his place on the grid here at the Hartlepool semi-final. The man who obviously fancies his chances in a specially designed tarmac machine. Outside row 3, here comes 152 Andy Maynard, who this afternoon is racing 544 Russell Taylor's Tarmac Special. But the bumper work when it's required is number 471, the Brahma Bomb. That's Bobby Burns, sponsored by Flockton Plant Hire. Here comes Bobby to receive his presentation from Sue Joplin. The cheeky chappie from Murfield, West Yorks is number 272, Andy Hodgson. He's lining up beside Bobby, and he's quickly gaining himself a reputation as the northern equivalent of the 471 driver, a real hard man around the raceways when it's required. Here comes the other half of the Hodgson Racing team, starting on outside row 5 in this afternoon's semi-final. Number 172, Andy Hodgson, that's Stevie Hodgson. There's your outside row 6 starter, number 109, Phil Smith. A man who certainly makes his presence felt around the tarmac raceways. And what more can we say about the defending world champion, number 53, John Lund, out there to take his pole position slot, but quite predictably he arrives late to take his place on the grid. Piloting his 350 small block Chevrolet Special, here comes 97 Murray Harrison from Kettering, who's taking his presentation and customary kits from Sue Joplin and goes around to take his place on inside row 5. Piloting a superb X-Ray Tilsley machine is number 131 Richard Thornton. There comes 218 Derek Fairhurst, the Bolton driver. Is out equipped with Hoosier tyres this afternoon to put a good account of himself here in this afternoon's semi-final. This man in fact led the 1986 semi-final here at Hartlepool for a good number of laps, displaying his typical character there to the camera. A specifically designed Tarmac Special. It's 247 Andy Webb. Maybe Andy's wishing that it could have rained this afternoon. His reputation on wet surfaces is quite well known. The man who starts on outside row 9 is number 22, William Yarrow, and who's got the equipment to certainly tackle this afternoon's main race, coming from down on the back of the grid, but he's got a hot tarmac speedster, number 501, Chris Elwell. Would have preferred Boston this afternoon. 169, Andy Clark. 41, John Lawn. What a gritty driver, if ever there was one, this man from the east coast of England. He's going to certainly put in a sterling performance this afternoon. Stock car racing.
Starting on inside row 9 this afternoon, number 212, Frankie Wainman. Starting a lot further back to what he was normally accustomed to in years past, but Frankie certainly has the track craft to make up for that. Another hard-charging shale expert is number 234, Mark Duxbury. The Raceways, number 134, Wally Pittham. Side row 6 starter, number 175, Rob Pearce, has unfortunately been unable to make it this afternoon to Hartlepool. But only too grateful to take his position on the grid as first reserve is number 7, Phil Bicknell. So here we are, the Hartlepool semi-final here in 1992. Inside row 1, 53, John Lund. Outside row 1, 515, Junior Wainman. Inside row 2, number 2, Paul Harrison. Outside row 2, 213, Des Chandler. Inside row 3, the Music Man, 417, Mike James. Outside row 3, 152, Andy Maynard. Inside row 4, 471, Bobby Burns. Outside row 4, 272, Andy Hodgson. Inside row 5, 97, Murray Harrison. Outside row 5, 172, Stevie Hodson. Inside row 6, 128, John Wright. Outside row 6, 109, Phil Smith. Inside row 8 we have 441, John Lawn. Outside row 8, number 87, Neil Brigg. Inside row 9, 212, Frankie Wainman Sr. Outside row 9 is 22, William Yarrow. Inside row 10, 247, Andy Webb. Outside row 10 is 501, Chris Elwell. 169, Andy Clark is outside row 11. 131, Richard Thornton is beside him. 234, Mark Duxbury inside row 11. 134, Wally Pittham outside row 12. And at the back of the grid we have number 7, Phil Bicknell. First Brisca Formula 1 semi-final here at the Clarence Road, Hartlepool is about to get underway. The moment of truth for all competitors concerned, and the tension is surely mounting both in and outside that cab. Tension is brewing right the way around this raceway as each and every one of these fans here is about to show his last gasp piece of support for his favourite driver. Who's going to be your winner? 53 John Lund or 515 Junior Wainman? Those are your hot favourites for this race this afternoon. There's a lot of hard-charging men right behind them, and this is a really small, tight, tricky tarmac track. So we're on the way for a slow rolling lap start, which is about to embark on 25 racing laps. 53 John Lund, the defending world champion, leads them on the way on a slow, steady pace. It's the gold roof on inside row 1. Down the back straight they go, and these competitors are going to be itching to get their feet on that loud pedal. The tension's mounting, the crowd are cheering. And went away and racing, and 515 Junior Wainman has stolen a march on his competitors. A massive gap already as 213 Des Chandler tangled with 417 Mike James. 471 Bobby Durrance flies over the infield, tries to rejoin, and through for the first time, and round turns 3 and 4. 515 Junior Wainman leads them underway. 247 Andy Webb has taken out 501 Chris Elwell on the very first lap, and it's 515 from 53. Then comes number 2. 172 Stevie Hodson has had a good start in his race, but he's being caught out wide by his brother Andy through turns 3 and 4, and then comes 417 Mike James. He's in 5th place. And sure enough, the world champion is closing down the 515 car of Frankie Wainman Jr. Another lap completes as Junior moves through turns 1 and 2 with the world champion hot on his heels. In 3rd place and being left behind is number 2 Paul Harrison as he negotiates turns 3 and 4, but the battle is on for the lead. 515 from 53.
Up to 4th place now is 272 Andy Hodgson. Battling for 5th is 417 Mike James and 213 Des Chandler. And Lundy is mounting his charge through turns 1 and 2. And 515 is being pulled by 441 John Long as 169 or 218 hit the fence here on the pit turn. 515 under pressure from 53, and John Lund puts the bumper in once again through turns 1 and 2 as each car has to negotiate all these bank markers right the way around this tight Hartlepool Raceway. 515 from 53. In 3rd is number 2. A long way back and forth is 272 as 152 Andy Maynard spins out onto the infield. Next back marker for the leading duo to negotiate is going to be 87 Neil Brigg, and he's going to have to move out wide to let these hard-charging pair through. Here's your leaders down the back straight once again. 515, and he's tangled with 87 Neil Brigg, and that's allowed Lundy through into the lead. Another lap completes, and it's the world champion who leads them through the top turn. 53 now from 515. Number 2's closed that gap just a little bit, but the battle is still on for the lead. It's 53 who has to hit 169 Andy Maynard hard wide on turns 1 and 2 in an effort to keep a good distance between himself and 515 Junior Rainman. The crowd are going wild here on the top turn. Everybody's shouting up for their favourite driver as it's 53 and 515. This is brewing into be an absolute classic of a race, and it's 53 right under pressure once again from 515 Junior Rainman. In 3rd is still number 2, Paul Harrison. And we're looking for 4th, 172. Then in 5th, 272. But Junior's under pressure, and he puts Lundy wide. And it's Junior who once again retakes the lead. 515 this time from 53. And this is an absolute corker of a race. It's the halfway stage now, and it's Junior leading through the defending world champion, 53, John Lund, and we have the yellows, Mr. Starter, as 169 Andy Clark has rolled over on turns 3 and 4, and has been hit in the cab by 172 Andy Hodgson. Yellows, Mr. Starter, as everybody's brought down to a walking pace speed. Andy Clark was your rollover, causing that incident as he tangled. So Hartlepool is building up into be the absolute classic that everybody had hoped for. Everybody charging for their relative positions to gain their all-important places for tonight, for this year's 1992 World Championship at Bradford Stadium. And it's 515 Frankie Wayman who holds the advantage over 53 John Lund. So Hartlepool is building up into be the absolute classic that everybody had hoped for. Everybody charging for their relative positions to gain their all-important places for tonight, for this year's 1992 World Championship at Bradford Stadium. And it's 515 Frankie Wayman who holds the advantage over 53 John Lund. Lying in 3rd on the track, but not on your race card, is 417 Mike James, who's had a continuing battle with 213 Des Chandler to get one of the lower places in this afternoon's World Championship semi-final.
Indeed, a good number of drivers are already a lap or so down on the race leaders. Such is the nature of this Hartlepool Raceway. Leaders are being stopped on the home straight right in front of the starters rostrum. But the track has now been cleared. The 169 car is out on the safety of the centre green, and we're about to bring you racing once again in the Hartlepool semi-final. What are going to be John Lund's tactics in the second half of this event? Will he bring heave-ho on the 515 machine, or will he settle for that second place? Number 2, Paul Harrison, is still in that third spot. Then comes 272, Andy Hodson. And it's Junior leads them through on the resumption of the green. 515 from 53. Number 2 tries to negotiate the back markers of 87, Neil Brigg. And number 2, Paul Harrison. And Brigg is taking Harrison straight into the wires on the top turn. And number 2 is out of the race. A remarkable piece of action by 87, Neil Brigg. 53, John Lund is still tackling number 515, Junior Wayman, and it's Hodgson now under pressure from 471, Bobby Burns through turns 1 and 2, and 97, Murray Harrison in 5th place. Hodgson's gone wide under pressure from 471, Bobby Burns, and Burns is looking for a third spot. Down the home straight they go. Oggy's going back, and 97, Murray Harrison puts the bumper in likewise. And the leaders are passing them everywhere. And we've got another rollover. 128. John Wright has gone over on the very same place. This is Hartlepool Raceway at its very best, bringing you Brisca Formula 1 stock cars on semi-final day. Your victim this time round was 128 John Wright, as he tangled with the T-boning charge of 131 Richard Thornton. And we have yellows once again. Webb, and in there as well is 87 Neil Brigg. A good many of the fancied runners are out. 172 Stevie Hodson is on the safety of the centre green, as is 152 Andy Maynard. Number 7 Phil Bicknell is in there as well, as is 218 Bolton's Derek Fairhurst. It's 53 John Lund, who has taken the advantage once again to lead through 515 Junior Wayman, who's down back in second place. They look to have lapped everybody up to 5th place on the grid now, and lying in 3rd at the moment is 471 Bobby Burns. Right behind him is 97 Murray Harrison. Then comes 272 Andy Hodson. As they wind up those engines once again, down on the loud pedal goes 53 John Lund, and he's leading to 515 Junior Wayman. Once again, the race has settled down just a little bit now as the leaders negotiate turns 3 and 4. The battle is brewing for 3rd place. It's 471 Bobby Burns who leads through. Number 2 Paul Harrison, and 272 Andy Hodgson's got an outside rear flat, and he is out of this year's semi-final at Hartlepool. Both Hodgsons are out. Disaster for the Murfield duo. And it's 53 John Lund who's leading through 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. Looking for 3rd once again, and it's 471 Bobby Burns. In 4th now looks to be 97 Murray Harrison, and then we've got a long way back to 5th place man on the track tables is 417 Mike James. Then comes 6th place 213 Des Chandler, who's being lapped by the 471 car of Bobby Burns through turns 3 and 4, with number 2 Paul Harrison right behind him. Down the home straight they go. But the battle is once again on for the lead with just 2 laps to go this time. What will Frankie Wayman Jr. do, as both of them are being pulled by the 234 car of Mark Duxbury? Will Jr. give the big one to 53 John Lund, as it's just 1 lap to go this time round? The crowd are throwing their fists in the air, cheering for all they're worth. And what will Frankie Wayman Jr. do this time? Down now, back straight for the last time. It's 53 John Lund from 515 Junior Wayman, and that's the way it's going to stay. The check flag goes up and down as the defending world champion 53 John Lund, who takes this afternoon's semi-final race
here at the Hartlepool Raceway. John Lunn guarantees the pole position for the Bradford World Final in September, with 515 Junior Wayman getting that all-important second place. Unconfirmed as yet, but on my reckoning, in third place was 471 Bobby Burns. In fourth may well have been 97 Murray Harrison, and fifth 417 Mike James. Coming home sixth could well have been number 2 Paul Harrison, and in seventh 213 Des Chandler. Another lap down, but maybe in eighth was 501 Chris Elwell. But these positions will shortly be confirmed as soon as we can get them to you. That completes the first Formula One semi-final for this year's World Championship.
Did it go the way that you intended, John, or did you just sort of, I mean, obviously you and young Frankie broke clear from the others, and was it a question of, did you ever want to settle for second?
I was quite happy watching Frankie in front of me. Second would have done me fine, but as it happened, I got into the lead for the last few laps, and I thought, well, I'll have to go for it now.
Right, and pole position Bradford, is that too bad?
It depends on the day, on the track, what everybody else does.
Well, congratulations anyway. We just, if we just have this young lady, Jill Burden from the Stars here, she's going to give you the trophy. And, thank you very much. Yep. You get to kiss him as well, I'm afraid, Jill.
Thank you.
And there we are, just for you, first place.
Oh, I really like these.
I can't tell you what he said there either.
Look that way. There you are.
Anyway, we have some photographs. There's obviously that John's got a fair bit of support up here in the northeast today. Yeah. Well, Frankie, come and say a few words to us. I think, well, I'm not thinking for you, but considering your injury just a couple of weeks ago, you'll be pretty happy with the second place, yeah?
Yeah, well happy. When I was in the lead in front of John, I thought John will be alright settling for second, and then down on that bend there was somebody rolled over and John went through. I thought, well, John can win it. I think I'll just sit behind him on the grid at the World Final.
Yeah. Are you going to do all the meetings now till the rest of the till the World Final, or are you just going to pick and choose one or two to get your arm a bit better?
Yesterday and today the arms felt really good. It twinged me a bit over there when I hit a car, but I've got to build a new car now for the World Final because mine isn't just quick enough, but I think I should be doing a fair few of them.
Right. Are you coming out in the final today?
Oh yeah, I'll be in final.
Okay, Frankie, there's a young lady here, she's going to give you a trophy. Oh yeah, Frankie Jr. And third place, a man who we thought was going to go straight to the back, but he's come straight back to the front, you little devil.
Why was I going straight to the back then?
Well, I just thought you were about 8th place at one time, and you just fought your way through.
Tactics.
That was your tactics, was it? You've got many supporters here, Bobby, today. You must be pleased to see them all turning out.
Yeah, very nice. Nice to see them.
And third place in the world, on the grid for the World Final, that'll do you?
Yes, better than fourth.
You haven't got a Dutchman in between.
I've got a Dutchman now, haven't I? They told me Kroonder. Oh, bad move.
Who's he?
That's it. Who's he?
Who's he? Well done, Bobby. Anyway, these young lady are going to give you this award.
Very nice to come back here after all these years.
Thank you very much. It's pleased to see you. Going to have a good go in the final?
Yeah, I'm going to get lunch.
He's going to get lunch, right.
He's had a good day.
He's won the money, right. Thanks very much, Bobby. Smile for everybody there. Okay, right, so we're going to go on the pickup, and I'm sure we'll
Oh my God.
Oh, you want your photograph on it, don't you? You want them on the photograph? Hold it up.
all the races crew members of the 1988 season, please give the
two full results to that World Championship semi-final, and that was won by 53 John Lund. In second place it was 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. and third place went to 471 Bobby Burns. In fourth it was 97 Murray Harrison. Fifth place went to 417 Mike James. In sixth it was number 2 Paul Harrison. Seventh place went to 213 Des Chandler. In eighth was 501 Chris Elwell. John Lawn, number 441, was ninth, and 10th and last to qualify for the big one at Bradford was 131 Richard Thornton. And that 10th place was certainly very hotly disputed, with it originally being given to 134 Wally Pittham. Then the result was changed about half an hour later, with 234 Mark Duxbury getting the verdict, but about 45 minutes after the meeting, eventually 10th spot being given to 131 Richard Thornton. Of course, a bit too late to stop Richard from competing in the day's consolation event.
And we're shortly going to get underway in this consolation race. So they all get away this time, and it's 158. Ray Houston lays them through, and there's an almighty pile of white tops down on the pit bend for the first time, taking out 262, 115, 455 and 275, and the rest of the whites are clearing away as 158 Ray Houston and 397 Steve Reese tangle out. Out goes Tony Brown as well, and all the white tops have pressed the self-destruct button. That's allowed 407 Craig Smith to lead them through quite unexpectedly. Through the bottom turn he goes and down the back straight. 407 is your leader, Craig Smith. 131 Richard Thornton is quick to get his car sorted out, as 86 David Tolson tangles about with 169 Andy Clark, and all the cars hurtle through the pit turn. 234 Mark Duxbury puts the bumper in hard on 87 Neil Brigg. Nearly takes himself out round the pit turn, the top turn they go. And we're just trying to pick out the places in the early stages of this race, and it's still Craig Smith leading the charge. But that lead has been taken over by 131 Richard Thornton, hotly under pressure by 109 Phil Smith. Down the back straight they go. In goes the bumper from Phil Smith. He grabs the inside line and takes the lead. Making good his progress from his great start is 86 David Tolson, and he's closing down the white top of 407. Craig Smith, as 344 Tony Banks spins out and takes the 407 car with him. That's allowed 86 David Tolson to move up a good number of places, as 22 William Yarrow spins out on the pit turn. 109 Phil Smith is your leader through turns 3 and 4, with 131 Richard Thornton in second place. Right behind him is 87 Neil Brigg, still using those 4 Hoosier tyres, wisely invested for today's racing. Closing him down in fourth place now is 86 David Tolson, looking for the gap on the inside of Briggy, nudging him wide down the home straight, and Tolson moves up into that third place. Lying in fifth at the moment is the 234 car of Mark Duxbury, who's obviously hoping that the decisions will be amended in that semi-final race, allowing him to get on the grid at the first attempt for the Bradford World Final. 131 Richard Thornton looked to have a little bit of a problem there, but he's got his foot down on the loud pedal once again, with 86 David Tolson round turns 3 and 4 looming large in his mirrors. 109 Phil Smith through turns 3 and 4 once again completes yet another lap, as it's the halfway stage this time. 86 David Tolson is lying in second place, with 131 Richard Thornton in third. 87 Neil Brigg is fourth, and in fifth, and under pressure from 212 Frankie Wayman is 234 Mark Duxbury. Wayman sees to the inside line, and he goes through into fifth place. Down to sixth is 234 Mark Duxbury, and in seventh is 152 Andy Maynard. Battling away for ninth at the moment is 169 and 64 Kev Smith, but Kev seems to have a problem, sliding right across the centre green. Resumes his racing line, is now behind 128 John Wright and 169 Andy Clark, and Kev Smith is putting the bumper in once again on the Clark machine through turns 3 and 4, as it's 3 to go this time for your leader, 109 Phil Smith. Kev Smith's getting into all sorts of trouble, and he has taken out 86 David Tolson, as 169 Andy Clark 6 Retribution on the 64 car of Kev Smith and puts him right in the fence. 20 fireworks are emitting right the way around this raceway. 22 World Yarrow takes out 169 Andy Clark and both slide across the centre green, and 234 Mock Duxbury's in there as well, and 86 David Tilsman, and everybody's gone absolutely mental around this raceway with just 1 lap to go. There's no room left and they go sliding across the centre green, and the 109 car's gone out as well by 1.2 Andy Maynard, and who is left in this consolation race? I can only see the leader as being 131 Richard Thornton as a result of all this destruction, and Nelson, the starter, doesn't know who to give the checkered flag to in this confusion. Who has won this race? We'll leave the starters to find out in this one. Red flag's out this time, and I get 131 Richard Thornton to be the victor in the consolation race, with 212 Frankie Wayman in second place. And that was an absolutely remarkable end to event number 3 on your programme for the Formula 1 stock cars. As expected, as a result of that hectic consolation race, the victor amongst all the chaos was 131 Richard Thornton. Obviously quite delighted to be a survivor in that race, let alone be a victor. Acknowledging the crowd as he goes through turns 3 and 4. 131 Richard Thornton.
Consolation results, that event won by 131 Richard Thornton. Second place went to 212 Frankie Wayman, and in third was 109 Phil Smith. Fourth place went to 128 John Wright. In fifth it was 34 Mal Brown. Sixth place went to 397 Steve Rees, and seventh and last to finish was 262 Ian Briggs.
Preparing ourselves for the commencement of this afternoon's grand final here at Hartlepool. 24 cars are eligible. Not everybody's made it out for the grand final. 213 Des Chandler is loaded up, but everybody's winding their engines up, and the green flag drops and we're away and racing with number 4 Daniel Harter leading him through from his white top berth. He's going to make sure he's good at his start if he can. Rob Cowley gets into all sort of trouble. Looks like his car is stuck in neutral, but he's got going at the end of the back end of the red tops. And it's 422 Nigel Wharton who's leading the red top train through, closely followed by 417 Mike James through turns 3 and 4. Is there anybody out there who's going to be quick and nimble enough around this tight and tricky oval to try and get close enough to the Shenstone driver? 133 Anthony Flanagan goes wide through turns 3 and 4, and we've got Lundy in the fence on the top turn, but he's recovered well and he's now chasing down 471 Bobby Burns, seeking the inside line through turns 1 and 2 and trying to catch up with 501 Chris Elwell. The whole battery of cars is bouncing down the home straight once again, with 515 in battling with number 2 Paul Harrison. It's number 4 Daniel Harter who's still leading them through in this grand final, and he's got about a length of a straight lead over 202 Richard Mason, who is in second place now, having passed the car of number 34 Mal Brown. Up to fourth already is 422 Nigel Wharton, and right behind him is 417 Mike James. Junior Wainman has made good his progress from the back of the grid, and he's now trying to close down the gap between himself and the James machine. Down the back straight they go, and it's still the white top with the ex-John Lund machine. Number 4 Daniel Harter leading them through with another lap completed. Nelson, the starter, shows him to be the leader with 202 Richard Mason closing down the gap between himself and the leader with 422 Nigel Wharton right behind him, looming ever so close in his mirrors, and he's surely going to receive the bumper treatment any moment now. Bumper goes in, Mason goes wide, Wharton is through into second, into first, and the Shenstone man leads the grand final here at Hartlepool this afternoon. 422 Nigel Wharton is your race leader from 202 Richard Mason in second place. Still in that third place is number 4 Daniel Harter, and up to fourth this time is 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. Is Wharton going to be able to have enough breathing space to get away from the man with the identical car as his. 4.22 in first, 2.02 second, up to third now is 5.15 Junior Wayman, and closing down the distance all the time. It's the halfway stage this time. The Union Jack is out and it's still 4.22 who's leading them through. John Lund is battling away with 5.01 Chris Elwell. Nearly tangles but gets through and now tries to close down between himself and number 2 Paul Harrison. One's got into a little bit of trouble with 2.15. Jeff Nichols manages to negotiate that little problem and he now has 5.15 Frankie Wayman Jr. in his mirrors. 73 Rob Crowley leaps his car out of the way through turns 1 and 2 and it's 4.22 from 5.15 Frankie Wayman Jr. who has only just recently returned to racing after suffering that arm injury. And it's Wayman who hammers one wide into turns 1 and 2. Has he got the room to get through? One tries to shut the door hard, nearly takes Wayman onto the grass through turns 3 and 4 once again. And what's Wayman going to do this time? Bumper's going to go in again on the same place as last time. Has he got the gap again? It's the same manoeuvre by one, nearly takes him onto the grass. And Wayman has to bide his time once again. Bumpers flying all the time with just 5 laps to go. This time around, 4.22 from 5.15 in this afternoon's grand final with 4.17 Mike James in third place. 4.22 receives the bumper between them once again, and Wayman's successful with the manoeuvre this time and gets away. 5.15 Frankie Wayman Jr. leads the grand final this afternoon, and what's Nigel Warren going to do in reply? Nothing. 5.15 from 4.22, 4.17 and 53, and they're both going to negotiate the back markers in the dying seconds of this grand final this afternoon. 5.15 through turns 3 and 4 with just 2 laps to go this time. What's Warren going to do? He puts the power down on that big 510 Chevrolet engine. Has he got any response? But Wayman's just sneaking away just a little bit. Passes his father through turns 3 and 4 with just 1 lap to go this time. Just little more than 200 metres left for 5.15 Frankie Wayman Jr. He's leading the grand final through the turns for the last time. The checkered flag is going to go up and down as he negotiates 4.71 Bobby Burns. It's 5.15 Frankie Wayman Jr. who takes the grand final this afternoon. From 4.22 Nigel Warren in second place. Coming home third was 4.17 Mike James, and in fourth was 53 John Lund. Coming home fifth was 5.01 Chris Elwell, and completing the top 6 was number 2 Paul Harrison.
Of the grand final then on semi-final day, and that race was won by 5.15 Junior Wayman. Second place went to 4.22 Nigel Wharton, and in third was 4.17 Mike James. Fourth place went to 53 John Lund. In fifth it was 5.01 Chris Elwell. Number 2 Paul Harrison came home 6th. In 7th it was 2.02 Richard Mason. 8th place went to number 4 Daniel Harter. In 9th it was 4.71 Bobby Burns, and 10th went to 2.12 Frankie Wayman.
Taking his position out on his lap handicap, and he's sure to try and make good his progress from the front of the white tops. The green flag drops and he leads them through with number 4 Daniel Harter first of the whites, and he's the leader in this early stage of the race. Kev Smith is out there to try and make as much aggro he possibly can with his Ford powered unit car. Richard Mason has made a good start, leading his fellow blue tops through, and he's chasing down the 34 car of Mal Brown through turns 1 and 2 they go with just a few laps completed. It's 4.17 Mike James and 4.22 Nigel Wharton leading through the red top charge, and Wharton will be looking for the inside line, looking for a gap to try and get past the Music Man. Kev Smith is struggling just a little bit and has to give way to 5.01 Chris Elwell.
73 Rob Cowley is also looking for a way through past the Smith machine. And as we pick up the race leaders, it is predictably number 4 Daniel Harter, who's had a superb afternoon in his ex-John Lund machine. It's number 4 leading through from 202 Richard Mason, who's got the inside line on number 34 Mal Brown. Mal driving the ex-Bob Gulikers car, and superbly turned out it is too. 422 Nigel Wharton has got the brake on his fellow Star Men, and is now chasing for third place as 417 Mike Jane pulls off with a engine problem. Junior Wayman is eating up the laps. He's passed his father through turns 1 and 2, and now he's closing down 501 Chris Elwell through turns 3 and 4. Number 4 Daniel Harter is still your race leader through the top turn as 202 Richard Mason endeavours to try and hold out 422 Nigel Wharton. He was unsuccessful on that occasion, and 422 moves up into second place. 53 John Lund is looking to take the third place away from 202 Richard Mason in just a lap or so. The world champion, who has had a successful afternoon here at Hartlepool, taking the all-important semi-final race, is now moving through into third place. Leans hard on 202 and is now chasing down 422 Nigel Wharton. Your race leader is still the white-topped number 4 car of Daniel Harter, all the way up from Essex this afternoon. 422 Nigel Wharton is eating up the laps and is closing down the number 4 car. He is still in second place at the moment, with 53 John Lund now in third. 202 Richard Mason is fourth, and in fifth is number 86 David Toulson. Lying in seventh now from his lap handicap starting place is 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. 53 John Lund leans hard on number 4 Daniel Harter, and he moves into second place now, and indeed is closing down the gap between himself and the race leader 422 Nigel Wharton. This could be interesting as the race moves into the second half. 422 and 53 with just only 3 laps to go this time. What's John Lund going to do? What's Nigel Wharton going to do? It's a tight and tricky track, and 53 puts the bumper in round turns 3 and 4, and Lundy moves through into the lead. 2 to do this time, and will Wharton have a reply? He doesn't seem able to have the legs on the world champion, and John Lund gently moves his car through turns 3 and 4, and he's on his last lap. John Lund's leading through the Grand National, and he just has the back straight and turn to negotiate. The checkered flag comes down for 53 John Lund, who takes the Grand National from 422 Nigel Wharton in second place. In third was 515 Frankie Wayman Jr., and coming home fourth was number 4 Daniel Harter. In fifth was number 202 Richard Mason, and completing the top 6 was number 86 David Toulson. And that completes this afternoon's Formula 1 session at Hartlepool's semi-final meeting.
Full and confirmed results to the last Formula 1 event of the day, the Stocks Line sponsored Grand National Championship Heat, won by number 53 John Lund. In second it was 422 Nigel Wharton, and third place went to 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. In fourth it was number 4 Daniel Harter. Fifth place went to 202 Richard Mason. In sixth it was 86 David Toulson. Seventh place went to 73 Rob Cowley, and in eighth was 471 Bobby Burns.
And around the top to go, 338, he fires there. Number 9, Keith Neville avoids the sliding car. 21, Paul Harrison joins. 2 laps to go. Next time round, shot away from his challenger of about 5 or 6 laps to go. There's the Palmer car. That's 7. Doesn't look as if he's going to get any closer to the front in this one. There's Strapping. helmets on, and now it's just a question of wondering what's going to happen next. This is going to be a night to remember here at Boston, ladies and gentlemen. The little ahead holding them back. Jane Bean on the outside there in 309, wondering what's going to happen. Richard Macy obviously hoping to get a little bit of a flyer. He lets the gap open up on that bridge just a little bit. As they come round the turnstile, then the green flag goes down. The power is coming on, and the second semi-final is underway with Jane Bean round to the outside. The money is taken away. The problem down here. Let's just go out with this. Said it was all going to happen. Real folding shot caught up as well. He moves out of the way. The leaders go through again. They might have shot it. Lies next time for Dave Beresford. So it's all the question I'm waiting to see just at the end of the day when the short gun will check. Jason Mike, having a problem with one rule at the moment in car number 5, but it won't be too much of a problem. He knows Dave Beresford will keep a tight inside line round the turnstile there.
Starting tonight's semi-final on the inside row 1 at Boston is Peter Paulding, 33. Peter, Jane Bean starting alongside it. There's been a lot made of your rivalry here. What observations did you make on that semi-final tonight?
In what way do you mean?
Well, you were having fun and games at Skegness not too long ago, and she put you out of the Birmingham final to win that, and there's been all these leaflets circulating and things that say it's one or other of you that's going to go out on turn 1. Would that be the case?
No idea, depends if she's going to do me, doesn't it?
But you've got no plans to take her out and get rid of her on turn 1?
No.
What's your Boston form been like this season?
Well, it's alright being on track, but I haven't fetched a boat with me for today.
Yeah, we've been down to Boston this morning and turns 1 and 2 are underwater at the moment. It's going to be very slippy indeed. Does that hold any worries for you?
The thing is, if somebody's going to take you out, they're going to take you out whether it's wet or not, aren't they?
Does that worry you that someone might take you out?
No, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, isn't it? No point worrying about it.
Is there anyone you can mark down on the grid that might have one to put over on you?
Everybody, I would think, at some time.
Should we get through to Bradford? What sort of form you got at the Odsal Bowl this year?
Not being going too bad, not being as quick as John Lund, but fairly reasonable.
Would you prefer to win your semi and start alongside John, or come second and start in behind him for Bradford?
Sooner win. Pays more money.
And you reckon you could beat him around Bradford, or you got some changes to think about?
Don't know. On present form, I would say all can happen in a world final, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and obviously going back to last year, you'd won that as good as, and got taken out by that mark. Are you doubly keen to get that gold roof on this year?
I keep trying every year to win it, but I've won it once, and there's not many people that's won it at all, so I've got one up on a lot of people, and I'd like to win it again. I keep getting eluded.
You got another couple of rostering finishes to your name as well. You've been quite successful in semi-finals as well. You've gone through every year since '85, I think.
Yeah.
Is there any knack to it, or is it just luck?
No, if you're going, like I say, if somebody's going to take you out, they're going to take you out. There's no point worrying about it, is there? And I just don't bother. And just get going and just do your own thing and just try and conserve your tyres and everything. And if somebody's quicker than you, there's no point holding them up. You may as well just let them go, take your place.
And Dave Beresford and Richard Mason start behind you. Both of them are fair drivers. They're not likely to send you into the wires on turn 1, I wouldn't have thought.
I don't think anybody up front is going to try and get going and let race get going and then sort it out, other than do it first bend. So if they do it first bend, they're not going to get away from rest at pipe, because at Boston everybody seems to bounce out at fence, so it's going to collect all traffic. Probably end up, I think it'll be stopped a couple of times.
It's certainly going to be interesting anyway on a very greasy track. It looks like, so best of luck and hope we see you at Bradford.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Stop.
The semi-final on outside row 5 is number 73, Rob Cowley. Rob, you've been going so well on tarmac recently, you might have been better off at Hartlepool.
I don't know. No, I don't think so, because it's taken us until last weekend to get the tarmac car sorted out. and we're still not 100% happy with it, but it's obviously just gone a lot better than it has done before.
To get away from the semi, you say you're not 100% happy with it. You just won the Eastern Championship final today at Skegness. You're driving extremely well in that.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, the car was going well all the way. Yeah, we've been playing around with it a lot. I mean, this coilover, it takes a lot of getting right, but when you get it right, I'm convinced that it's it's better than Leaf for tarmac.
Is it more expensive than the Leaf?
No, not at all. It's about the same price because you've still got a shock absorber to buy and you've still got a leaf spring to buy.
That's a good investment then.
Well, I think so. Each to their own. Peter's tried it and he didn't like it. Peter Folding.
Yeah.
He didn't like it. He couldn't handle it. Couldn't work it out. But no, we're quite happy.
So moving on to tonight then, presuming you get there okay, which I'm sure you will. Outside row 5, what observations do you make about Boston semi?
I'd rather have been inside row 5.
It's a bit tight around there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very tight. I don't know. I shall have to just wait and see, won't I? I think it'll just settle down for the first couple of laps and then see what happens.
I mean, it seems likely that with 24 cars hammering around there will be a stoppage at some point. I mean, is there any way you go about avoiding being in the action without slipping down the places too much?
No, well, a race like that, you're just in the lap of the gods. Lady Luck plays a very, very big part.
Yeah. Do you find there's more pressure on you in a semi than actually in the World Final itself?
No, I don't think so, no. They're both very prestigious events, so the pressure's about the same now.
Yeah, and how's the shale car been going since you got this new tarmac car?
It's going all right, like I said to you previously in another interview. If you've got one car for each surface, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because you're not altering different settings for different tracks, you see.
And what about the people up front? You've got Forden and Bean, who perhaps you might hope they have a little accident and shift you a few places.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if them lot at the front could tangle and then, and let me through. It'd be very, very nice. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see.
We've been down the track today, it looks very wet and they're pumping water off one of the bends. Would you prefer a drier track or are you quite happy on wet shale?
I don't like very, very wet shale.
Very wet
yeah.
at the moment.
Like Heat 1 at Long Eaton, he's always, there's always, oh God, no. But no, it's, I like it a little bit damp. I mean, like last Saturday at Coventry, it was too dry.
Yeah.
Very, very dry. I don't like it then, it gets too dusty and,
If you get through to Bradford, have you been going well there this season?
Yeah, we're not going bad. We're not doing bad. The shale form up there's all right.
Because one consolation you got, if you do fail tonight, you're not in Heat 1 at Long Eaton because the consolation semi's Heat 3, so...
Yeah, but knowing Keith, he'll still put loads of water down, won't he? Just as though it was Heat 1, you know what Keith's like.
We'll get you in it, we'll shift it forward a bit.
Oh, thank you very much, thank you very much.
Well, very best of luck tonight, hopefully it won't come to Long Eaton and we'll see you on the grid at Bradford.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Rob.
You're welcome.
On inside row 5 is the North East top driver, number 86, David Toulson. David, your form at Hartlepool suggests you would have rather got last week's semi-final.
Yeah, I would like, but it's 6 and 2 race really, training both.
And how's your form on shale been recently?
Well, so just getting used to it really.
Yeah, and you won't be using this car tonight?
No, I'll be using the other one.
One over there. Now, you've not raced at Boston before, is that right?
I raced 3 times before. I raced the last Skegness that was here. Raced then and got a decent place in the heat. And final I was getting lap like, so I just had to see.
So what is it about shale that makes you less competitive than you are on tarmac?
Well, I don't know really. Never really driven on it for a start. I've always been a deadlift and that like, and it's just a matter of getting used to it and driving it really.
Yeah, obviously if you do get through, you've raced at Bradford quite regularly.
Yeah.
And you've been up competing with the best of them at there. I remember Heat this season you're up there. Your first couple. You fancy your chances around there if you get through?
Well, I fancy it, yeah. I'd like to get through. Bit of experience.
It's going to be extremely tight at Boston with 24 of them hammering down to turn 1. Any way you can avoid a big first bend shunt?
No, it'll just be a matter of waiting and seeing if you can keep going and just try and pick a few up at the end.
Yeah, it's
the only way.
13 on track.
Yeah.
We've been there today and it's extremely wet. There's water standing on turns 1 and 2. Would you prefer wet shale? Or?
Preferred wet, because if it's dry away, you have no chance. They'll just get away and that'll be it. Like.
Do you hope to transform your shale form? Are you looking at concentrating on shale, or are you quite happy sticking with the tarmac?
Try and do a little bit, just when I can. I like Coventry and that and Bradford. Just a matter of the jobs, both of them really, tarmac and shale. So.
Must be very
I'm
pleased
doing
with the way
well.
the tarmac car's gone. It's about a year old now, is it?
Year old now, aye, thereabouts. Yeah, it's good. Been a good car.
It's very hard to beat at Hartlepool. Had a bit of trouble up at Hartlepool last week.
Last week it did,
Consolation was
aye.
a bit hectic, wasn't it? A bit different with a load of cars.
Few more cars than usual, aye.
Right, well, thanks very much for your time, and
Yeah.
best of luck tonight. Hopefully see you at Bradford.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
The final on outside row 4 is the 1990 World Champion 55 Bert Finnegan. Bert, how many times have you raced at Boston before?
3 times, I think.
And how have you got on?
I've enjoyed it, let's say that. I've got 3rd and 4th there and 6th. Well, tonight, well, anything goes really. So.
Yeah, semi-final, different proposition altogether.
Yeah.
You're on the outside line as well, which you know Boston's very, very tight.
Yeah, true. That's why we decided to come Skegness, at least we can have a bit of enjoyment here and then take what comes tonight.
I mean, how do you approach a semi on the outside of a 24-car pack and a few rows back down the grid?
Hope to do a bit of squeezing, hopefully.
Trying to force inside row 4 over onto the banking.
Onto the tyres or whatever.
Boston track's quite wet today. They've had a deluge down there earlier on this morning. Wet shale, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that shale now. We've got car handling a little bit better on shale now.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been limited this year. We've been busy in that, but hopefully we'll just see how things come.
Will you be racing this car today?
Yeah.
Is it not risky at all to race it on the very afternoon that you'll be going in the semi, or you're not too fussed?
Yeah, well, we did the same when we went to Holland. Come back from Holland and went straight to Scunthorpe.
Yeah.
So it's racing at the end of the day.
Well, Scunthorpe was the year you won it, and it was at Bradford. Bradford again this year. You'd feel very confident if you qualified in the top 3 or so.
Yeah, I would be quite happy, like. More happy just get in it and then see what happens.
And you've no worries about getting the gold roof back. You wouldn't want to sort of settle for a second and take the money and not have the pressure of being world champ again.
No, it's always nice to be world champion. At least I have been there once. It's like last year. I wasn't disappointed. I'd have been disappointed if I didn't finish, but I enjoyed it, and that's what the game's about at the end of it.
Yeah, that was probably the roughest.
Yeah, plenty of tyre smoke, plenty of enjoyment, good exciting finish.
Well, hopefully you'll have fun around Boston tonight. Certainly wouldn't like to be in your position. Good luck, and see you at Bradford maybe.
All right then, thanks.
Thank you very much, Bert.
Okay.
Inside back row tonight at Boston in the semi-final is number 35, Graham Barr. Graham, your first semi-final ever in England.
Yes, that's right.
And you've been in a world final before, of course, as a New Zealand competitor. How many times have you raced in world finals?
3 or 4, I think. I'm not too sure.
So, how much difference does it make that now you've got to qualify along with the rest of them? Is there as much pressure on you as when you seeded to a world final?
Certainly, it's a lot harder to qualify in the English semi than just being seeded straight into the world final.
I think there's many people on the grid that would quite like your position today, inside back row.
I think with the conditions tonight, yeah, it's the safest place to be.
Was there any doubt that you weren't going to race tonight?
No, there were never any doubt. I qualified in the semi and I always said I would do it.
And what car will you be in?
I'll be in Clive Linton's.
Which one's that?
The one I've been using all year, like at Bradford.
You got a second in the national at Bradford, didn't you? A couple of
yes
ago.
Yeah, it was a good race.
It's certainly shale must be your preferred surface. Is that about right?
Yeah. If the car's set up, I don't mind racing either. But that car does go particularly well on shale.
Of course, very experienced out in New Zealand. You've won major titles out there. Is it mostly dirt tracks out there? Any hard surfaces?
No tarmac. It's all just shale.
Have you raced at Boston before?
No, never at Boston.
You must have had a look at the place. It's very tight.
I went a couple of times last year with John and Peter, and it looks very tight and fast.
So you're just sort of being cautious in the early laps today then?
Oh, yeah, I'll just sit back and let them all go. Go ahead.
Well, we hope to see you at Bradford. When are you off back to New Zealand again?
Hopefully a fortnight after the world final.
All right, is that for good then, or will you be nipping back?
No, I don't think I'll be nipping back. Not in the near future.
Are you taking the good lady wife with you as well?
Yes.
That'll be different. Will you be coming back for world finals as a New Zealand competitor then?
I don't honestly know what I'm going to do when I get back in the racing line, or whether I will end up coming back. It's just the sheer expense coming over.
Yeah, it is a lot, but you used to come over for 3-4 months at a time, didn't you?
Yes, no, there'll be none of that.
Well, hopefully see you back soon, and good luck tonight. And see you at Bradford.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Get on and enjoy the Lincolnshire countryside.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay. It's different, isn't it?
Okay.
17 cars on the grid. And they go. Take them a little bit of a while to find a way around here, to find the line, but once that's done, it will really start to happen, as it always does. Here's Steve Reese in 397. David Hardy in 197. Crasher Craig Smith is in there as well in number 407, just getting in quite early on, spinning the opposition aside, which he does. Comes through on the outside, up and goes straight into Dave Hardy. Ray Williams winded up down the home straight, now all going far too fast down here. And around they start to go. 338, he's gone round Chris Brox up, then 272. Going into the wires there. Number 9, Keith Neville avoids the sliding cars. Over on the back straight, there's more problems. Ray Williams is involved, so is Des Chandler in cars 26 and 213. Off goes Craig Smith in 407 and Chris Brox up in 338. It started early on, no doubt about it. So who's going to emerge as the man who's actually leading the pack? It's Mike James, in fact, in 417. Got 172. First and second places, Mike James in 417 and Steve Hodgson in 172. Both of them finding life a little bit difficult as they went down the far side. Chris Wilkinson goes into the fence down there in car number 121. Paul Harrison joins him, and so does Dave Johnson in cars 2 and 383. Man taking avoiding action is Ray Williams in number 26 and Keith Neville in car number 9. But whilst mayhem surrounds the arena, Mike James in 417 and Steve Hodgson in 172 go blindly on without any real problems other than to each other, as Hodgson in fact has a little tap at the rear end of the James bumper, tries to muscle in on the underside of the James car, but it doesn't happen. James shuts the door very nicely and Hodgson has to content himself with remaining in that second place. He goes wide, does Mike James, who exited from turn 2. As a result, it's Steve Hodgson in 172 who goes into the lead. Steve Hodgson in 172 for Mike James in number 417. John Lund in third place in number 53. 272 fourth. Andy Hodgson. Still mobile. The big fellow from Peterborough. And it's halfway next time, Mr. Starter. Eric Graveling, in fact, we were talking about just halfway next time round for the lead cars. 172 Steve Hodgson. The Paul Harrison car causing a chicane over on the far side as cars exit from turn 2, and it's already created quite a goodly number of problems for all and sundry. The Dave Hardy car is slowly sinking up to its axles in the infield water splash there. Probably need divers to extricate that at the end of the meeting. John Lund is still soldiering on in number 53, but the man who's actually well out in front and opened up a useful gap at this time in the proceedings, Steve Hodgson in 172, Mike James in 417, still having a problem getting his car around that turn, and John Lund in number 53 in third place, with Andy Hodgson fourth in 272, and it's 5 next time, Steve, please. So with 5 laps to go next time round, Steve Hodgson in 172 certainly has the edge on this one. He's shot away from his challenger of but 5 or 6 laps ago, Mike James in 417. Although Mike, of course, from St Austell in Cornwall, is still holding on to that second place with John Lund third in number 53 and Andy Hodgson fourth in 272. Hodgson certainly trying to have a go time and time again at the back end of the Lund car, and it could well happen if back markers are likely to get in the way, and indeed Hodgson trying to go through on the inside there, doesn't quite happen. Lund shuts him right out again. They all slow down to get past that problem spot there. Once again Hodgson puts the bumper in on John Lund, shoots through on the inside. Interestingly enough, that might well be a mistake, but we shall find that out before the checkered flag goes down. Steve Hodgson in car number 172 from 417 Mike James, Andy Hodgson in 272, John Lund in 53. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in the closing stages of this one now, very much so. John Lund winding it up down the home straight. Last lap board being prepared by Mr. Starter. It goes out for Steve Hodgson in 172. Second man, Mike James, he's through. So is Andy Hodgson rather, and 53, John Lund. Checkered flag time. Hodgson, Steve takes it. Second man through, Mike James. Third, Hodgson, Andy, 272. Fourth, 53, John Lund. And the rest, well, not until the charts have been checked. Keep them going, Steve, if you would, please. Spread over a lap and a half, in fact, Mr. Starter, so anyone who slows down now could well find himself robbed of points and or a place, or both. Okay, Mr. Starter, the reds now, please.
So the results to Formula 1 Heat 1, and that was won by 172 Steve Hodgson. In second place it was 417 Mike James, and third went to 272 Andy Hodgson. In fourth it was 53 John Lund. Fifth place went to 26 Ray Williams. In sixth it was 315 Eric Graveling. Seventh place went to number 9 Keith Neville, and eighth and last to finish was 307 Tim Warwick.
Then we have the reds coming into the frame now. 97. Murray Harrison. 212 Frankie Wayman. 515 Junior Wayman. Junior Wayman car sponsored there by Forge Diesel Services and Who's Tyres. Cars on the grid, and Mr. Starter drops that green flag first time, no problems. Owen Brown shoots away in car number 200. He wanted to get well. Oh my goodness, that is number 79. That's gone rattling in there very hard. So has the Palmer car at 79 and 105. Monzo Pete Palmer that's gone in there. Neil Long in car number 79. But whilst those two are sorting themselves out, the rest of the field have done likewise, but in not quite such drastic fashion. Murray Harrison's got himself in trouble very early on in 97, and so it's Owen Brown in number 200 who leads down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 on the turnstile then. Winds it up all the way down the home straight. Richard Knight in 436. 441, John Lord there just tweaks the back end down that home straightaway, number 7 and 4, and Matthew Bennett in his eagerness to get round Phil Bicknell gets hooked up. Phil Bicknell throws him aside on the turnstile then. Lisa Harter returns to the track right in front of Bicknell. There's a clang of bumpers. Lisa Harter continues in car number 24. 22 Will Yarrows just behind. And it's all happening there just as Michael Smith pulls off in car number 3. 93. Owen Brown then still there in number 200, and indeed Owen's been putting it together quite nicely on one or two occasions of recent weeks. And here he is again out there, driving pretty well. Richard Knight in 436. Oh, and around goes Keith Palmer in car number 105, the old water splash flying high in the air. Phil Herzog not all that happy either on the tarmac on the shale here tonight. 533 Phil Herzog then getting around there with the leader Owen Brown coming around to try and take him as a back marker. Both those cars tangle, and in fact Brown's gone, the leader has gone, both of them into the wires there. Are we going to get to change our front runner? And it's halfway next time, Mr. Starter. Are we sure which one? John Law then coming out there in 441 with Peter Knight. there, so according to the lap charts at this stage, it's 4:41 in the lead, Mr. Zada, from 4:36 in second position. Keith Palmer in car number 105 doing his best to get the act together, but having trouble so doing. Junior Wayman in 5:15 whistles down the home straight past Knight, which has got to put him in a pretty good position. So it is John Lawn in 4:41. That's the man who's heading them at the moment with 5, this time Mr. Starter, in fact, 5. John Lawn, number 441 from Norwich, he's out in the lead. Second is Junior Wayman in 5:15. Richard Knight has been doing quite nicely in number 436, might well find himself in the placings. Junior Wayman doesn't look as if he's going to get any closer to the front in this one. And John Wright departs over on the far side again. Guess who? Phil Bicknell's involved in number 7. There's 128, number 7 tied up on the centre green. They break free at last, with John Wright rejoining as rapidly as he can. Will Yarrow decides that enough's enough, abandons his car here on the home straight. We're into the final stages of this one with John Lawn in 4:41, harrying his way around here very nicely. He'll be pleased if he crosses the line in first place in this one. You remember that the last time he raced here, he finished up taking his car away in a plastic bag after it had been hung up on the wires down there on the turn 1, and hung up there in a very big way. So it's John Lawn in car number 441. Junior Wayman in 5:15 manages to miss the attentions that were seemingly going to be paid to him by Phil Bicknell in number 7. Lisa Harder gets through as well in number 24. There's the checkered flag. It's up, it's down. John Lawn takes it in 4:41. Second through is Junior Wayman in 5:15. And the rest of the results, well, not until the charts have in fact been checked. Phil Herzog goes into the wires down there on the turnstile bend. Matt Bennett has disappeared in a great cloud of steam. And we have them all, Mr. Starter, thank you.
And the results to Formula 1 Heat 2, that was won by 441 John Lawn. In second place it was 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. and third went to 436 Richard Knight. In fourth place it was 413 Matthew Bennett. Fifth place went to 109 Phil Smith. In sixth it was 212 Frankie Wayman. Seventh place went to number 6 Phil Wilton. In eighth it was 24 Lisa Harter. Ninth place went to 128 John Wright. And in 10th was number 7 Phil Bicknell. Now to the grid on inside row 1, it's number 33 Peter Faulding, his great rival alongside him 309 Jane Beam from Disley in Cheshire. Inside row 2 goes to the veteran Dave Beresford, number 260, and outside row 2, winner of 4 grand finals this year, number 202 Richard Mason. All alone on row 3 is number 203 Dan Clark from Rothwell Northant, and not in his car as yet is number 64 Kes Smith. He's borrowed a market car for tonight's race. Now we move back to inside row 5 in the northeast main hope. That's David Toulson, number 86 from Middleton in Teesdale, and from Nuneaton in Warwickshire. Outside row 5 it's number 73 Rob Cowley. Moving to inside row 6, and that's number 20 Warren Hunter from Preston in Lancashire. And now we can just see going to take his place up on outside row 4 of the grid. That's 55 Bert Finnegan, who finished second in the world final at Hensford last year. Outside row 6, that's 371 Shane Durrell from Malvern in Worcestershire, and inside row 7 goes to the red top driver number 98 Les Spencer. From Luton in Bedfordshire, 362, Lionel Shaw occupies outside row 7. Lionel got a long way to come to Boston today. Hopefully he'll be going home celebrating. 236, Michael Eyes, Liversedge, West Yorkshire based, inside row 8. On outside row 8 from Walsall in the West Midlands is number 221, Stephen Cooper, happier on tarmac surfaces. Inside row 9 goes to the youngster from Brinsworth Rotherham, number 21, Mark Gilbank, just 17 years of age. Graham France, number 216, occupies outside row 9. Inside row 10 goes to number 215, Jeff Nichols from Melton Mowbray. On outside row 10, it's Russell Humphrey, 113 from Preston, been driving very well indeed on the Shell raceways in recent weeks. Inside row 11, it's Joe Jopling, the promoter up at Hartlepool, racing at Boston for the first time. Outside row 11 from Manchester, it's number 424, Mike Hayward. And inside row 12 is number 35, Graham Barr from Lichfield, Staffordshire. And outside the very experienced number 5, Johnny Goodall.
Yes?
It's nice and steady, keeping them going. Full rolling lap. Peter Faulding, Jane Bean, Dave Beresford, Richard Mason, Dan Clark, Kev Smith, Bert Finicum, David Toulson, Rob Cowley, Warren Hunter, Shane Doggle, Les Spencer, Lionel H. Shaw, Mike Ives, Steve Cooper, Mark Gilbank, Jeff Nichols, Graham France, Joe Jopling, Ross Humphrey, Graham Barr, Mike Hayward, Wayne Handley and John Goodall. This is going to be a night to remember here at Boston, ladies and gentlemen. Told you earlier, history in the making, and you're part of it. This 1992 second semi-final about to roar into action, and what action is promised. Taking it nice and steadily. Being joined actually by at least one of the qualifiers from the first semi at Hartlepool, anxious no doubt to see who's going to be at the side and immediately behind him at the big one at Bradford. Watch them as they move down that back straight. It's slow, it's controlled. They're all keen to go, but the front runners holding them back. Keep your eyes on the starter down here. That's the man who will set it off. Peter Faulding just nudging a little ahead, holding them back. Jane Bean on the outside there in 309, wondering what's going to happen. Richard Mason obviously hoping to get a little bit of a flyer as he lets a gap open up on that grid just a little bit as they come round the turnstile bend. The green flag goes down, the power is coming on, and the second semi-final is underway with Jane Bean round from the outside and rolling down the home straight away. 309 and 33 into the first turn they go. They're not all safely away. There's a problem down here. Les Spencer has gone, and indeed the track is almost locked down here, and this could create absolute havoc down here as the leaders try to come through. There's a big mass of cars there. Jane Bean, he's got to get caught up there. We said it was all going to happen. Peter Faulding's got caught up as well. He's gone. Oh no, my goodness me, it's all happening down here on the home straight away. Wayne Handley's disappeared in the Mac. The cars roll by. Peter Faulding desperately trying to get restarted. So is Jane Bean, but there's something the wrong way look at it underneath that car. So now what's going to happen? It's open wide up, and anything could happen, and it probably will. Dave Beresford shoots through. Dave Beresford in 260. Richard Mason in car number 202. Oh my goodness, Warren Hunter's there as well in car number 20. Michael Ives in 236, all trying to get back into the fray. And we said it would be a night of surprises, and surprises it's going to be as they roll around here. Dave Beresford in car number 260. Richard Mason in car number 202 in first and second places as they stand at the moment. Into the home straight away, past the start finish line there, all moving very rapidly. Stephen Cooper at the back in car number 221, moves out of the way as the leaders go through again. Dan Clark in car number 203 slips the car down that back straight. Mason still there, so is Donald in 371. But of course, those that were much fancied are towards the back of the pack or in trouble. Right from the word go that happened. James Bean was one of them in 309. David Toulson struggling a bit, he's got a flat front tyre, that's the reason. So David Toulson is going to say goodbye to his chances in car number 86. 203 and 202. It's 260 Dave Beresford, that's the leader from Richard Mason in car number 202. The rest of them still very much in contention. 362 Lionel Shaw moving back down the home straight. Right. Warren Hunter could well be in that third place in car number 20 as they go down that far side. Dawson still struggling around with that flat front tyre, and several other casualties around the raceway, including Peter Fielding in car number 33. 203 Dan Clark slighted round there nicely. Mason in car number 202. Off goes Jane Bean in 309 over on that far side. Beresford in car number 260. He leads down the home straight. Dan Clark in 203 goes through, but it's a question yet as to whether that can be confirmed at a later time. Certainly Richard Mason is there in 202. Number 20 Warren Hunter could well be in the places as well. Wrong maybe with Lionel Shaw in 362. And Ross Humphrey in 113 might well in fact have come through amongst those that are still running. Well, it started with a bang, and already we've got many of the fancied cars littered around this track, but those that are running are still moving around here rapidly, including the man who's certainly leading 260, Dave Beresford. Now do remember that any comments made at this stage are just observations. The official result is the one that we need at the end of the day, and it's halfway next time, Mr. Starter. Beresford is there in 260, Mason certainly in 202. Dan Clark coming round there just behind Beresford in 260, 260, 203 Dan Clark running just behind Beresford. Mason is there in 202. Then there could well be a big gap until you come to number 20, Warren Hunter, Ross Humphrey 113, Lionel Shaw in 362. Certainly that first bend melee created all sorts of mayhem out there on the track. They said it was going to be a good one, and indeed it is. Just look at the cars as they littered around this track. Peter Fielding on the centre, Jane Bean likewise, Kev Smith in 64, Graham Bard out here in 35, all sidelined in the first few laps of this event, and those that are running, moving around this Boston Oval at an extremely good rate of knots. And the track surface holding up well, ensuring that we do have and have had a good race. Dave Beresford in 260 then coming out of turn 4 down the home straight away, round 1 and 2 into the backstretch, pulling away from the cars immediately behind him, having a problem with John Goodall at the moment in car number 5, but it won't be too much of a problem because Dave Beresford will keep a tight inside line round the turnstile bend, which he does, comes into the home straight yet again, not taking any chances. 260 Dave Beresford, Dan Clark in 203, Richard Mason in 202, locked in their particular battle. Then the gap could be that Russ Humphries up there in 113, along with Warren Hunter in number 20, Lionel Shaw in 362. Bumpers going in on that turn. Mason trying to get through that, caught up there. Mason making his bid there, and they come down the home straight away. Didn't quite happen there. Beresford losing it on that turn in 260. Two cars tangling there, with Richard Mason hammering away after Beresford. Beresford going roaring down that home straight, chasing the Dan Clark motor, comes out of turn 4 into the home straight away. 5 next time, Mr. Starter. 5 next time for 260 Dave Beresford. 260 Dave Beresford is in the lead. 202 Richard Mason in second place. Whoa! And away goes Mason down there. Who's leading? sort it out at the end of the day, but certainly things are happening down here. Dan Clark is roaring away in 2:03, so is Dave Beresford in 2:60. All of them motoring around here quite rapidly. Clark in number 2:03. Remember that it's just a question of waiting for the charts to be checked. 2:03 though, Dan Clark goes down that back straight from Beresford in 2:60. Humphrey in 1:13. So it's all a question of waiting to see just at the end of the day when the charts are being checked. 2:60 Dave Beresford, roaring round here extremely quickly. Beresford coming round there. Down the home straightaway into turns 1 and 2 again. All the fields spread around there. Warren Hunter still going nicely, as is Lionel Shaw in 3:62, and it's going to be checkered flag time. Remember that the charts need to be checked before any official result is given. So we keep them going, all of them. Mike Hayward goes across the line in 4:24, so does Michael Ives in 2:36. 2:15 Jeff Nichols, Johnny Goodall still motoring, Dan Clark goes through, so does Rob Cowley in 73. We're getting them all down, and we can have the wins, Mr. Starter, and we need to check the charts before the official result is confirmed.
This way, please. This way, please. No, get me one this way. Listen to it. Over your legs. They are. Never get away. Come on, you old man. Yeah. Barry, come in the truck, just around a little
Dave Beresford and Russ Humphrey on the pace car. Come on, put your hands together all the way around turns 1 and 2.
So to the results of the second of the 1992 Brisca Formula 1 Championship of the World semi-finals, and of course the winner was number 203 Danny Clark. In second place it was 260 Dave Beresford, and third went to 113 Russell Humphrey. In fourth it was 362 Lionel Shaw. Fifth place went to number 20 Warren Hunter. In sixth it was 21 Mark Gilbank. Seventh place went to 236 Michael Ives. In eighth it was 215 Jeff Nichols. Ninth place went to number 5 Johnny Goodall, and in 10th was number 73 Rob Cowley.
And in fact, as a result of that, he almost goes into the wire. So as they come past the start-finish line, it could well be Craig Smith in 4:07 who leads from Dave Hardy at 1:97. Away goes Owen Brown in number 200, sliding across there, setting the marker tyres away, which are avoided, or is avoided, by Paul Harrison in number 2. But by avoiding that, he went out wide. The man who tried to get beneath him on that occasion was Les Spencer in car number 98, but it didn't work for Les, and Paul Harrison went right the way around the outside and maintained his position. Still Craig Smith in 4:07, and Dave Johnson in 3:83, who, again with a quick burst down the backstretch, take over that number 1 slot. And it is Dave Johnson in 3:83 from John Wright in 1:28. 4:07 Craig Smith, 97 Murray Harrison. Away goes John Saish in 1:59, bouncing high, and the sparks are flying. Oh, and Phil Hay was almost tipped over then as he tangled with Jane Mead at number 309. Jane backs off and gets ready to restart just before the lead cars go hurtling by, and in fact Johnson does that in car number 383. John Wright in that second place in 1:28, Murray Harrison third in 97, and Craig Smith in car number 4:07 gets clobbered by Will Yarrow in 22. Just behind Will Yarrow, oh, and John Wright almost goes again. Look at that, straight into the mud and everything down there. 3:38. Chris Bosnick was the one of them that went there. Chris Brock's up in car number 338, dived into the water splash there. John Wright did the same in car number 128. And Murray Harrison suddenly found himself on the semi-green, coming back on to rejoin, but of course lost a tremendous amount of ground, and he's undoubtedly out of the immediate running. So Dave Johnson comes flying through in number 383 at the halfway next time, Mr. Starter. Paul Harrison is second in number 2. Les Spencer third in number 98. Murray Harrison, remember, was in trouble earlier on, but the way the field is spread might just about make it. But in fact 371, Shane Dorrell is the next in line as far as the places are concerned out there on track. Dave Johnson then, 383. Paul Harrison in number 2. Les Spencer in number 98. 1, 2, 3, 371. Shane Dorrell. 86, David Tilson, and Mike Worthy there, and Graham Francie, 216. A tremendous amount of cars from the number that actually started this consolation event for the Formula Ones already sidelined, and it's 5 next time, Steve, please. So with 5 laps to go next time for David Johnson in 383, he looks certainly at this stage to be all set for a victory in this consolation event. Paul Harrison is a quarter of a lap or more, in fact, near a half a lap probably behind. Not quite. Quarter is perhaps nearer the mark. In second place in number 2. Les Spencer in number 98 is in third place. 371 Shane Dorrell 4th. 86 David Torson 5th, and 6th is Graham France in 216. Nice line all the way around this raceway here at Boston now tonight. Nothing untoward out there on track. It seems to be just right, and the cars are gripping nicely all the way around. Dave Johnson's the one that's really getting to grips with it in this consolation. He's again about to probably put a back marker behind him before that checkered flag goes down in the shape of Will Yellow in number 22. Paul Harrison in number 2, not getting any nearer to the Dave Johnson car. Johnson would seem to have perhaps eased off just a little bit in 383, but then he can afford to do so because he's certainly not under any immediate pressure, and there's no problems in front of him either, and there certainly won't be as he goes through onto this last lap. Dave Johnson 383 and Paul Harrison in car number 2, first and second, then a gap, another half lap gap or so before we come to the third placeman, which is number 98 Les Spencer from Shane Dollar in 371 and 86 David Toulson, Graham France 216. Johnson takes the checkered flag. Paul Harrison is second. We're still waiting for the third man to come through. Who is it going to be? Well, it looks like it's going to be Les Spencer in number 98 from Shane Dollar in 371. David Toulson in 86 and Graham France in 216. Very quickly again, just let's add those are only observations, nothing in your programs until everything's been checked, please. Thank you, Steve. The red, please.
The results to the Brisca Formula 1 consolation event. In first was 383 Dave Johnson, second place went to number 2 Paul Harrison, and in third was 98 Les Spencer. Fourth place went to 371 Shane Durrell, in fifth was 86 David Toulson, sixth place went to 216 Graham France, in seventh it was 97 Murray Harrison, eighth place went to 378 Wayne Hambley, and in ninth was 363 Graham Payne.
515 Junior Wayman and 53 John the lineup, and any moment now that flag is going to go down. That moment has come, and the final here at Boston tonight, at least Formula 1 is underway. Just listen to that power as it comes on. There's a lot of cars out there. Keith Neville in car number 9 and Tim Warwick in 307 down the home straightaway extremely quickly, and there's a big one up there on the turnstile bend before the cars get started, and it looks as if car number 73 Rob Cowley is one of them. Rest are trying to sort themselves out and rejoin if possible, but it's not happening for them. The leaders are going through that, or at least some of them are, and it's going to be a big traffic jam up there. John Goodall has gone through. They're in car number 5, he's through. Danny car comes limping round with a flat rear tyre, and again it's beginning now to sort it out just a little bit, but there's a mass of cars on that turnstile bend, too numerous at this stage to mention, but it's hoped that by the time the lead cars come through again, we should at least have a way through. John Goodall in car number 5, way ahead. All struggling to find a way through on that bend. Just look at the substantial lead that Goodall's got at the moment, and that anyone started, that is a pretty good lead to have. And remember that Johnny Goodall is an ex-star man. He's been racing for, well, in fact, I think the first time that he came out, Ben Harrow won the grand final. He's been around that long. So Johnny Goodall in car number 5 then, leading the pack. From John Lawn in 441, 26 Ray Williams third, 272 could be there in that fourth place, but there's no ifs or buts about the man who's actually leading the cars at this stage, John Goodall. Certainly sorting themselves out now. 26 Ray Williams in that third place. So as they come through again, John Goodall in car number 5 for lead, the second placeman about to come down the home straight now. That's John Lawn in 441. Here's the third place coming into the picture now. Ray Williams in number 26, then 272, and could well be John Lund in number 53. After that shunt on the turnstile, then they certainly have got themselves in a dreadful mess, unsorted themselves, and that certainly made a difference to who might be doing what throughout the rest of the proceedings in this grand final here at Boston tonight. John Lund has just gone past Williams in car number 26. John Lawn in 4:41. John Lawn now leads, in fact, in car number 4:41, which is a pity because they would have caught up down there. 2:72 is in second place. That's Andy Hodgson. John Lund is third at the moment in car number 5. So John Lawn in 4:41, the Norwich-based driver, leads the pack down the home straight into turns 1 and 2, mixing it with the back markers there. Drivers being swept aside. It looks as the second place man is John Lund in car number 53. He's just taken 2:72. Andy Hodgson. Steve Hodgson is not too far behind in car number 1:72. Ray Williams still in the frame in car number 26. It's halfway. Next time is to start with John Lawn there in 4:41. He is the man who leads them into the second half of this grand final here in Boston. Out of the turnstile, then turn 4 comes the leader. 4:41, John Lawn. Still a very useful gap between first and second places, but maybe you certainly need that at this stage when it's John Lund in second place, tearing after you in car number 53, and certainly equally fast, or so it would appear at this stage. Andy Hodgson in 2:72. Again, time running out. Still Lawn in 4:41, but just look how that gap between first and second place has narrowed over the last couple of laps. Back markers not going to impede the progress of any of those drivers, but John Lund is certainly stubbing it on all the way around here as Lawn in 4:41 goes down the home straight past the start-finish line with 53. John Lund in pursuit all the way around. John Lund too knows that he can't afford to make any mistake because one of the new young pretenders just behind him in the shape of Andy Hodgson in 2:72, and these three cars are now getting very close as we move well into the second half of this race. 4:41, John Lawn gets a helping hand right on that turn there, and Andy Hodgson tries to do likewise, but it's John Lund who goes all the way through. John Lund goes through there, Hodgson does likewise in 2:72, and Lawn finds himself down into third place, but it's John Lund who leads in car number 53 around that turn. Away they all go, all of that turn. Hodgson disappears as well, and it's 5 next time, Mr. Starter, so 5 laps to go, and John Lund has found his way through all the way, just checking as to what the situation is over on that far side with the car right in the middle of the racing line. But so far everyone has managed to avoid that car. Let's hope that that's the case before the checkers go down. We don't want to see a problem. 53 then, John Lund leads. 1:72 now in second place, Steve Hodgson, and 2:72 Andy in third place. More trouble down here as cars go bouncing into the wires on the home straight. Still one running, car number 53, winning his way through the back markers without any trouble at all. No one making any impression on the gap because it's a big one now. And surely this is going to be a win for John Lund in car number 53. From 2:72 and 1:72. That's how it was last time round. Let's see if that's still the case. Doesn't look as if it is, but we'll check that, double check it next time through. There is Lund in 53, and Mike James is going to do his best to put the number 371 Shane Bowler car away. Yep. 113. Russ Humphries now moved up into third place incidentally, so he too is doing pretty well. It looks as if it's going to be John Lund. Big gap. Almost half a lap, in fact, between first and second place. Russ Humphrey chasing Andy Hodgson all the way in 2:72, and there might still be a bit of a surprise in store for Andy Hodgson in 2:72 before that checker goes down. We're moving through onto the last lap now. Lund in 53, clearly out in front of 2:72 Andy Hodgson, 113 Russ Humphrey. Oh, there's a problem over on the far side. Not a serious one. Lund then coming out of turn 4 for the last time. Over the line he goes. John Lund in car number 53 from 2:72. Andy Hodgson and 113 Russ Humphrey. And Reds, Mr. Starter, please.
So the results of the Brisca Formula 1 Grand Final, and that was won by number 53 John Lund. The runner-up was 2:72 Andy Hodgson, and third place went to 113 Russell Humphrey. In fourth it was 73 Rob Cowley. Fifth place went to 26 Ray Williams. In sixth was 417 Mike James. Seventh was 260 Dave Beresford. In eighth was 21 Mat Gulikers. Ninth place went to 371 Shane Durrell. And in 10th it was 362 Lionel Shaw.
cars on the grid as Starter drops the green flag. First time he's happy and they're away. You know that John Land really needs to motor to get into the points, which he probably will do. So they come into the home straight then. Who's leading the pack? It's going to be Keith Palmer. Look at it, number 105 from 338. There's Broxham. Along with 172, Steve Hodgson, and 113 Russell. Dave Beresford making a little progress in car number 260. And Paul Harrison gets himself into trouble in number 2 there. Is he going to go? No, he's yes he is. Around he goes, being forced broadside round there. And the other car involved was Junior Wayman, by the look of it, in 515. He gets restarted, Paul Harrison doesn't. And whilst all that was going on, the lead cars go through yet again. Oh, 105, 172 and 113 for second, third. 260, 417 and Jamie 309, good bit there. Interesting to see what's developing as far as these places are concerned. They're going to change up front in a moment or two, and it could change quite dramatically as well. Palmer doing his best to hold on, but didn't quite make it. That could well mean that we've now got Steve Hodgson in 172 in the lead. Oh, no way with that Starman. Looks like he was going to go straight in the fence there. Who was it? Was it Beresford? Oh, was it Jane Bean? Beresford, in fact, struggling down the home straight there, and lost time as he zigzagged there, trying to get it desperately back under control. He's done so now and goes herring in pursuit of their cars that passed him by so swiftly on that last lap. 172, 113 and 417 for second and third. Jane being up there in 309. But she gets a little bit of a helping hand down the home straight from Andy Hodgson in 272. Could be a little bit interesting now as they come rolling through. Let's see, 172. And it's halfway next time round, Mr. Starter, please. So as we go again into the second half, Junior Wayman pulls off in 515. It's Steve Hodgson the lead in 172 for Mike James in 417 and Ross Humphrey in 113. Then we come to a gap until Andy Hodgson comes up on the scene in 4th place in 272. Then Jane Bean in 309 and Dave Beresford in 260. 53 John Land begins to take a few points now as he moves into the lower places in car number 53. The leader still up there. And really turning it on all the way around. Mike James moving after him rapidly, and he could in fact get a few yards back there as he goes down the back straight, because Hodgson still went round the outside of Palmer, immediately goes plummeting straight into the fence right opposite race control on the back stretch. It is still 172 and 417, but it's 5 next time, Mr. Starter, for those two cars, and there's a ding-dong of a battle developing there. Ross Humphrey goes down here right in front of race control in 113. Bumpers going in hard there as Mike James gets stuck in there, and he moves through on the inside there, neck and neck, door handle around that turn. They're coming to the home straight. It's Mike James in car number 417 from Steve Hodgson in 172. Hoping to get close enough to return the compliment before that checkered flag goes down. The rest of them moving around here rapidly. Those are the two that you need to keep an eye on. Is Mike James winds it up all the way down the far side. Tries to open up the gap between first and second places as they go around the turn, south turn. Into and out of turn 4, 417 and 172 in first and second places. Mike James really turning it on all the way around. And indeed, with Steve Hodgson in 172. 272. Andy Hodgson in third place at those three have now broken away from the rest of the pack. John Lund still in pursuit of a few extra points and a bit of extra prize money, and he might well get it because he's moving up on Beresford now in car number 260. Mike James roaring around here as a fellow waiting for 117. He's drawing away now from Steve Hodgson in 172. Andy Hodgson in that third place, but just look what's happening a little bit further back, because John Lund in car number 53 moves up on the cars immediately in front of him, and Dave Beresford could be the first in the firing line if Lund can get close enough. Jane Bean is holding up the progress at the moment of Dave Beresford, who cannot in fact get close enough to do much about that car immediately in front of him, and that's giving an opportunity maybe for John Lund before that flag goes down. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen now or very soon as the checkered flag is prepared. But keep your eye a little bit further back as the lead car comes out of turn 4 Is the old Hufo coming? There's an effort to try and put it in down there. It doesn't quite work. Mike James crosses the line first. It's 309, 260 and 53. All in that order. And that was not a bad way to finish the evening's proceedings at all. Thank you, Steve. You can ready to field, please.
Of the Brisca Formula 1 Stocks Line Grand National, won by 417 Mike James. Second place went to 172 Steve Hodgson, and in third it was 272 Andy Hodgson. Fourth place went to 309 Jane Bean. In fifth was 260 Dave Beresford. Sixth place went to 53 John Lund. In seventh was 212 Frankie Raymond Sr. Eighth place went to 73 Rob Cowley, and ninth and last to finish was 159 John Saish.
Spun out to the action immediately, and Graham Barr's gone in 35 for the first time. Will Yarrow goes in hard in car number 22, and Wright's gone to the fence in 128 in 152. He's a casualty on the fence. Bumpers going in as they're going to turn 3 and 4, and Frankie Whalen Jr.'s gone with Stevie Hodgson, 212. David Toulson's gone here on the home straight. There's a big pile up front to run front of it. Second with 55 first, and he gets third, and fourth is in 33, and he's gone. Peter Ford's crash out of the line in 92 World Series on the home straight, and 55 first, and against one as well. He's over the home straight, and again they've gone up there and turn 3 and 4, but Mason rides it, and the top two all together up the back straight. 169 Andy Clark leads from 272 Richard Mason, and the Hodgson comes into the lead. Has gone. Andy Clark standing up, Richard Mason, and he's gone. Hodgson the lead, and the people standing up right in front of him. Hodgson's gone in 272. He's gone in a crowd and see him over on the back straight. 309 Casey.
To the 1992 UK Consolations semi-final with 21 on track, with only 2 to go forward to the Bradford World Final on September the 19th. One guy we lost in the pits today was 378 Wayne Handley, who was going to line up on inside of row 1, but he's blown his engine unloading it from the transporter. So on his own on outside row 1 it's 134 Wally Pitton from Burrowash in Derby. 424 Mike Hayward is next, and he's from Manchester, and the last 2 yellows is number 7 Phil Bicknell from Hinckley in Leicestershire. We move on to the blues, and a lot of them on track there is. Inside of row 3 is 35 Graham Barr from Lichfield in Staffordshire. 218 Derek Fairhurst is on outside row 3, he's from Bolton, Lancashire. 22 Will Yarrow is next, he's from Desborough, Northants. Alongside Will is 371 Shane Durrell from Malvern in Worcestershire. Inside row 5 goes to 169 Andy Clark from Rugby in Warwickshire. Outside row 5 it's 234 Mark Duxbury from Burnley in Lancashire. 128 John Wright is next, and he's from Long Eaton in Nottingham. Alongside John is 109 Phil Smith from Huddersfield, West Yorks. On inside row 7 is 87 Neil Brigg from Huddersfield as well, West Yorkshire. Next in line in the NZ24 car is 152 Andy Maynard from Rugby in Warwickshire. 172 Stevie Hodgson is next, he's from Murfield, West Yorks. And the last of the blues is 202 Richard Mason from Bradford, West Yorks. We move on to the reds, and the first of those is 55 Bert Finnegan from Leek in Staffordshire. Winner of 2 Consolations semi-finals is alongside Bert, and that's 212 Frankie Wayman Sr. from Silsden in West Yorkshire. Next in line is Brisca's Premier Lady, 309 Jane Beam from Disley in Cheshire. 86 David Toulson lines up on inside row 11, he's from Middleton in Teesdale, County Durham. 272 Andy Hodgson is next from Nerfield, West Yorkshire, and last on the grid is 33 Peter Faulding from Rotherham, South Yorks. It's over to you, Mr. Starter.
They got the green, the Consolation semi-final is underway, and 424 Mike Hayward has spun out to the action immediately, and Graham Barr's gone in 35. Their world dream is over. It's 22 Will Yarrow that leads them down the home straight for the first time, and 128 John Wright through in second, 169 Andy Clark in third, and it's 128 John Wright that leads it down the back straight for the first time, and Will Yarrow goes in hard in car number 22, and Wright's gone to the fence in 128. Will Yarrow's gone wide, and it's 169 Andy Clark that comes through to lead it on the home straight on lap 1. With 22 Will Yarrow in second, 109 Phil Smith third, and Richard Mason 202 in fourth. And at the moment going to Bradford is 169 Andy Clark and 22 Will Yarrow. They're the first 2 on the charts in the Consolation semi-final. Andy Maynard's gone in 152. He's a casualty on the centre green, and 371 Shane Durrell's tangled up in the wires on turns 3 and 4. It's 169 Andy Clark that leads from 22 William Yarrow, 109 Phil Smith, 202 Richard Mason, and the first of the reds to show is 55 Bert Finnegan.
And here come the leaders again on the home straight with Bert Finnegan 55 in trouble around turns 3 and 4, and he's tangled up with 172 Stevie Hodgson. And the leader's still 169 Andy Clark with 22 William Yarra in second spot. 33 Peter Faulding's beginning to show. He's pressuring Bert Finnegan 55 up the back straight. Bumpers going in as they go into turns 3 and 4, and Frankie Wayman Sr.'s gone with Stevie Hodgson 212 172. Their 1992 World Dream is over up there on turns 3 and 4, and it's still Andy Clark that's going to Bradford in 169, and second place is changing with 202 Richard Mason through ahead of 22 Will Yarrow. 86 David Toolsler's gone here on the home straight. There's a big pile up amongst the front runners. 33 Peter Faulding's forced his way through to second with 55 Bert Finnegan third, and Faulding's in trouble in 33 and he's gone. Peter Faulding's crashed out of the 1992 World Series on the home straight, and 55 Bert Finnegan's gone as well. And Faulding's rejoining here on turns 1 and 2, but he's a long way down, and it's still 169 Andy Clark that leads it over the home straight. And again they've gone up there on turns 3 and 4. 22 William Yarra's gone with 109 Phil Smith. It looks like their World Series is over in 1992, and it's still 169 Andy Clark that leads from 172 Steve Hodgson in second, 202 Richard Mason's in third, and Peter Faulding 33 passes Jane Bean 309 as she's in trouble, and it looks like Bean's out of this World Series and the UK Consolation semi-final. It's 169 Andy Clark that leads from 172 Stevie Hodgson and 202 Richard Mason. And it looks like Hodgson's a lap down in the 172 car, which gives it to Andy Clark 169 and 202 Richard Mason. They're the two going to Bradford at the moment. And Hodgson's coming in hard on the race leader, and Andy Clark rides it and he's around turns 1 and 2 in first place with Stevie Hodgson through 172 and unlapping himself. William Yarra's gone in 22. And it's still 169 Andy Clark that leads, but it's getting close up the front. 202 Richard Mason's right behind him, and 272 Andy Hodgson, the top three over on the back straight. And Andy Hodgson 272 could well be lining the two up in front for the big one as they come onto the home straight. Andy Clark 169 battling for the lead with 202 Richard Mason, and here comes Hodgson 272. He's in hard on the back of Mason, 202, but Mason rides it. And the top four all together up the back straight. 169 Andy Clark leads from 272 Richard Mason, and Andy Hodgson comes in, the leader's gone. Andy Clark's tangled up with Richard Mason and he's gone. And 272 Andy Hodgson leads it over the start finish line with 33 Peter Faulding in second and 128 John Wright in third. And Andy Clark now back in fourth, having gone out to the lead. It's 272 Andy Hodgson that leads, and there's people tangling up right in front of him, and Hodgson's gone in 272. And 33 Peter Faulding through to lead it from 128 John Wright in second. And it's the halfway stage, Mr. Starter. And Andy Clark's back in third and under pressure from 309 Jane Dean. And we think it's the top two over on the back straight. 33 Peter Faulding certainly there in the lead after his earlier crash here on the home straight. And there's the leader over the start finish line. And there's a tangle up there on turns 1 and 2. NZ24's gone with 212 Frankie Wayman Sr. And it's 33 Peter Faulding that leads from 128 John Wright. Third place has gone Andy Clark 169, spun right around. And Peter Faulding's got a lap down Stevie Hodgson right in front of him. Peter Faulding 33 trying to get by Stevie Hodgson in 172. John Wright nips through in 128 and he's in second spot. It's 33 Peter Faulding in first from 128 John Wright second, and Andy Maynard's gone in 152. He's tangled up with 87 Neil Brigg here on turns 1 and 2 as the leaders come round and the track's slightly blocked. 33 Peter Faulding powers by with 128 John Wright in second. Could well be 169 Andy Clark in third. We think Jane Dean's third in 309 with Frankie Wayman Sr. 212 in fourth. But at the moment it's 33 Peter Faulding and 128 John Wright going to Bradford on September the 19th. Faulding's going onto the back straight in 33 with 128 right behind him John Wright. Peter Faulding getting real with that marker in the 33 car. Wally Pitton goes to the wires on turns 3 and 4 and through again to start another lap. 33 Peter Faulding first with 128 John Wright in second. 169 Andy Clark's a lap down, and that puts Jane Bean 309 in the third spot. First reserve for Bradford if it finishes this way. And it's still 33 Peter Faulding that leads here on the start finish line. He's looking at Neil Brigg 87 right in front of him, and 234 Mark Duxbury is closing in on him, and 128 John Wright still close behind in that second place. And 33 Peter Faulding back marks in front of him down the back straight. Neil Brigg drifting slightly wide in 87.
John Wright, 1-8 wide in second place, and here's Fording on the home straight with a back marker between him and second place, and there's 5 laps to run. Next time, Mr. Starter. And at the moment, it's 33 Peter Fording and 1-8 John Wright going to Bradford on September the 19th. Fording 33 in amongst traffic on the back straight. John Wright 1-8 trying to get past the back marker 2-3-4 Mark Duxbury, and he has done that, and it's 33 Peter Fording up the home straight on the inside, and Neil Brigg 87. He's in first spot with John Wright 1-8 in second. The leaders on the back straight, 33 Peter Fording with the back marker right behind him, Neil Brigg 87. Peter Fording scoots on the infield, slows down briefly, Neil Brigg back on the inside in 87. Fording around the outside down the home straight. John Wright in 1-8, still in second place. And the leader, Peter Fording, is clear on the back straight in car number 33. 1-8, John Wright still in second, and it's a 3-lap to run board, being prepared for Peter Fording, 33. John Wright 1-8, looks at the 1-lap to run board, and 309 Jane Bean's gone in a cloud of steam over on the back straight. 309 Jane Bean was in third place, and their world dreams over. Peter Fording's in trouble in 33, and John Wright's gone out of second place in 1-8, and there's a big pile up. Frankie Wayman Senior 2-1-2 looks like he's going to come through in the lead, but the track's still blocked over there on turns 3 and 4. And Frankie Wayman Senior 2-1-2 comes through to lead it. Peter Fording 33 could well be in second place. There's 2 laps to run. And Peter Fording's running with a flat tyre in the closing stages. It's 2-1-2 Frankie Wayman first from 33 Peter Fording in second, and 1-8 John Wright is in third. And that's the way they are as they go on to the last lap. Frankie Wayman Senior 2-1-2 leads it from 33 Peter Fording in second. 1-8 John Wright is third, and that's the battle for Bradford. 33 Peter Fording loses out, and John Wright's gone through to second in 1-8 down the back straight for the last time. And it's Frankie Wayman Senior 2-1-2 who's going to come through to win the UK Consolation semi-final. And 1-8 John Wright is going to take that second spot and go to Bradford on September the 19th. He takes second. What a tremendous consolation semi-final. Frankie Wayman Senior 2-1-2 wins his third UK Consolation semi, and John Wright 1-8 goes through in second, and Peter Fording 33 unlucky in third. A tremendously exciting race, and we're keeping them coming to get everyone down on the charts. We still keep them coming, Mr. Starter. We need to get a top 10 for tonight's grand final, but a tremendously exciting race there. It looks like we got 2-1-2 Frankie Wayman through to Bradford as the first place finisher, and we can have the Reds Mr. Starter. Well, I'm sure you'll agree, that was a tremendous UK Consolation semi-final. We're just checking the charts carefully to make sure we got the correct top 2 on the charts, but it looks like commiserations to the race favourite 33 Peter Fording, who punctured right in the closing stages and started to drop back through the places. But 2 lucky drivers are going to Bradford on September the 19th. For the other 20, well, their dream's over for another season.
The top 2 in tonight's UK Consolation semi-final. And no stranger to winning this event down here on the start-finish line, 2-1-2 Frankie Wayman Senior. Let's grab a few words with the winner of the UK Consolation semi-final. Frank, you were lying in fourth. There's a big pile up there on turn 3. You must have been quite delighted when you came around turn 2 to see them all crashing out in front of you.
I knew we were going to crash it like before. Jane Bean dropped to water just as I was going into that event. So I knew they'd all be there next time round.
And what is it about you and Consolation semis? This is the 3rd time you've won this prestigious UK event.
Just where I drive them. You don't drive to win early on.
And chances from Bradford at the back?
If you were watering it like you were watering it last time, very, very good. Because it were a lottery.
Yeah. Did you start that one from the back, or was that not one of the years that you won the Consolation?
No, I don't mean last World Final, I mean the last Bradford meeting. Right. They were just watering it and grounding it, and you couldn't get any grip. So that place could be the place to be.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, going to Bradford as the winner of the UK Consolation semi-final, 2-1-2 Frankie Wayman Senior.
We've got the lady there. Would you like to?
Congratulations! Oh, you're alright. How do you feel then?
Very good.
Frankie from the mare down on the start finish line.
Who's this then?
It's Barber moving forward with the race winners.
Who's going to do this then when he gets a bit older?
Well, the other ones who are very well.
How old is he then?
21 years.
is it? Oh, you don't look old enough to have a son of 21.
It's wet, but it's real.
It's all right.
Real gold.
Great pleasure to present you with this.
Let's have a few words from the second place finisher in the UK Consolation Semi, John Wright, 1 to 8. John, you led on lap 1 for a brief period.
Very brief. I didn't catch you put me in the fence. Anybody see it?
I'm sure some of his supporters will tell him who put him there. And then you were lying second, I think, and you went into the almighty pilot down there on turn 3. You think you're going to get out of that?
Not really. If, I think it's Andy Hodgson behind me. If he'd have read the situation, seen the bump and got a flat, would have been home and dry.
Local boy made good.
There you go. Sorry, we made it anyway. Are you sure about it, Paul?
A message to the lap scorer from Mr. Wright. We'll get on with the presentation. Long Eaton Zone, John Wright, 1 to 8, second in the UK Consolation semi-final.
Well done. Very, very pleased for you.
Andy Hodgson would have lapped down.
The motor that's been taken off the top 2. There goes Bradford on September the 19th as world finalist. The probably most thought the chance had gone at Hartlepool. Frankie Wayman was an early casualty. John Wright, of course, rolled out of that semi-final. But now they're going to Bradford as world finalists, starting at the back, but nevertheless part of the biggest occasion of Brisca this season.
Come on then.
Okay, all the best.
Are you going around with us?
Picking up an extra bit of money from the sponsors, the Oxford Derby Stockhouse Supporters Club, and we'll get the top 2 around on a lap of honour.
And so the results to the 1992 UK Consolation semi-final, and that was won by 2-1-2 Frankie Wayman Sr. In second was 1 to 8 John Wright. Third place went to 33 Peter Faulding. In fourth was 2-7-2 Andy Hodgson. Fifth place went to 87 Neil Brigg. 169 Andy Clark was sixth. In seventh was 109 Phil Smith. And eighth place went to 134 Wally Pitton. His finger indicates first place. That rider's got 10 quid to take home. Racing with tonight's grand final, sponsored by the Oxford Derby Stockhouse Supporters Club. Number 5, Johnny Goodall, leads them down to turn 1 for the first time. 4-4-1, John Lawn inherits the lead on the back straight, looking like he's on for a tenner when he comes round. The blue top's piling up. 91 with Warren's Garmin, 87 Neil Brigg, and the Reds also getting involved. 86 David Tilsman, 272 Andy Hodgson, and here comes our lead car. John Lawn, 4-4-1, collects £10 from the Oxford Derby Stockhouse Supporters Club, and immediately confronts himself with a pile-up. 272 Andy Hodgson rejoining in front of some of the yellow top leaders that are coming round at the start of the grand final. 86 David Tilson's gone. 87 Neil Brigg tangled up with Andy Hodgson. 272 more drivers getting involved. 413 Matthew Bennett's gone and climbed the bank on turns 1 and 2. Danny Clark 203 also in trouble. 109 Phil Smith has spun it right around. Meantime John Lawn 441 has collected another tenner as the leader of the grand final. There's £20 going home to Norwich, and he's away and clear up the back straight from second place Johnny Goodall, number 5. The mayhem continues down on turns 1 and 2. 424 Mike Hayward got himself involved that time with 87 Neil Brigg. And Brigg's still stranded, but he's moved slightly back off the racing line, so hopefully everyone can get by unscathed this time. Another £10 gone back home to Norwich for John Lawn 441. He's already won £30 in tonight's grand final thanks to the Oxford Derby Stockhouse Supporters Club. Back down the field, Johnny Goodall, number 5, is in second spot, and then we're looking down to people who are laps down, and it could well be another yellow top driver that's in the top 3. Meanwhile, we're losing someone up there on turns 1 and 2. A couple of them spun around. John Lawn 441 collected another £10, leading tonight's grand final. Dave King 31's gone up there on turns 3 and 4. Could well be Mike Hayward 424 also involved. John Lawn 441 makes it £50 courtesy of the Oxford Derby. He's led for 5 laps on tonight's grand final with Johnny Goodall, number 5, in second spot. Ray Williams 26 is in third. It's a yellow 1, 2, 3 in the grand final. Dave Johnson battling for his place with 175 for Rob Pearce. Pearce hit him hard into turns 1 and 2, but Johnson 383 rode it and heads Pearce up the back straight. John Lawn comes round again in 441 as Mason clobbers the wires in 202 on turns 1 and 2. So John Lawn now £60 the richer courtesy of the Oxford Derby. Certainly a profitable day for the 441 driver. Goodall, number 5, trying to get with John Lawn. Those 2 yellow tops have gone clear in tonight's grand final. Rob Cowley's gone. He's tangled up with 215 Jeff Nichols on turns 1 and 2. Both those cars against the wires on 1 and 2. John Lawn, meanwhile, pockets another tenner. That's 70 quid back to Norwich with a 441 driver. He's still the leader of tonight's grand final. He was certainly very unlucky last Saturday at Crewe. He led the grand final to the very closing stages, got delayed by a back marker. Hopefully he won't make the same mistake tonight, but he's led 8 laps now, and it's already £80 home to Norwich. Number 5, Johnny Goodall, still in second, and we're looking a long way back down track to 383. Dave Johnson in third, and 175 Rob Pearce fourth. 26 Ray Williams is in fifth. It could be 21 Mark Gilbank sixth. 97 Murray Harrison in seventh, and 212 Frankie Wayman Senior in eighth, with John Land ninth in 53. That's the way they are then on lap 9 of tonight's grand final. Notts and Derby sponsored, and 441 John Lawn's now won £90. Courtesy of the Notts and Derby. He's coming around turns 3 and 4 to make it the 100. 441 gets £100 from the Notts and Derby. It's halfway, Mr. Starter. John Lawn £100 richer, 441. Johnny Goodall still quite close behind him in number 5, but it's the man from Norwich that leads the grand final. Lance Phil Rogers 116 on the back straight. Ray Williams 26 dropping down the places on the home straight as 212 Frankie Wayman Senior at 53. John Lund go by. John Law makes it £110 from the Notts and Derbies. He crosses the line as the leader of the grand final. He's led from start to finish so far, and Johnny Goodall number 5 is dropping back in second, with Dave Johnson a long way behind in third. So maybe the Norwich-based driver 441 John Lawn can win the final, but he's spun out slightly over there on turns 3 and 4, and Johnny Goodall number 5 closes right up. Meanwhile, Johnny Goodall leads another lap. John Lawn, leads another lap, £120 now, but Johnny Goodall's close in number 5 for that second spot. John Lawn 441 won his first ever grand final here at Long Eaton. He's on his way to do the same. The real battle on tracks between 53 John Lund and 212 Wayman Senior. Wayman Senior always took Lund to the wires on turns 1 and 2, but now Lund's raced away on the back straight, pulling away from Wayman Senior. That's a battle down the charts. 441 John Lawn's the man that leads it. He's already £130 richer, courtesy of the Notts and Derby, but now he's under pressure from a back marker as Will Fawn's 91 shots in towards the wires on turns 3 and 4, and they're together down the home straight. Lawn is £140 richer, and a 5 to go next time for the man from Norwich. Can he lead the Notts and Derby grand final from start to finish? He'll certainly get a lot of extra cash if he does. If he leads it from start to finish, he can pocket £450. The man from Norwich must be getting quite excited in his 441 car. Here he is over the start-finish line once again. He's already won £150 quid. He's up the inside of Ray Williams 26, and he's through and past down the back straight with Will Warnes 91 right behind him, but that Warnes 91 car is a lap down. Bumpers going in as John Lund 53 clatters his way past 97 Murray Harrison on turns 1 and 2 and moves up a place onto the back straight. John Lawn 441 still leads it. The other top from Norwich has now won £160, and he's just 3.5 laps away from a tremendous grand final win, but he's still got that back marker right behind him in the shape of 91 Will Fawns. 3 laps to run, board being prepared by Mr. Starley. Here comes John Lawn, the leader of tonight's grand final. He's under pressure from 91 Will Fawns. Warnes shoving him into 1 and 2, but Warnes is a lap down. Number 5 Johnny Goodall is second, 383 Dave Johnson third. 53 John Lund's moved up to 4th, with 21 Mark Gilbank 5th, but coming under pressure from 97 Murray Harrison. Harrison shoves Gilbank into turns 1 and 2 and makes it fit up the back straight. Harrison's in trouble. He climbs all over the top of Gilbank and almost loses control of the 97 car, but he's made the place, he's survived. And meanwhile John Lawn is just about a lap and a half away from the grand final win here at Long Eaton Stadium. Notts and Derby sponsored grand final. John Lawn 441 just a lap away from victory. He's already pocketed £190 if he crosses the line first. Not only does he get all £200 of the lap sponsorship, he gets £150 normal prize money and £100 bonus from the Notts and Derby. He's about half a lap away from completing a tremendous victory. 441 John Lawn leads the final from start to finish. Checker flag being prepared, and John Lawn 441 has won it. £450 going the way of the Norwich driver 441 John Lawn. He led all 20 laps of the grand final at £10 a lap. That's not bad at all. Number 5 Johnny Goodall may have crossed the line in second, with 383 Dave Johnson third and 53 John Lund in fourth. Bonuses for the top 3 in the grand final. So number 5 Johnny Goodall and 383 Dave Johnson going home a little richer, and we need to keep them coming, Mr. Starter. And we can have the red flags, please.
For one has climbed through the wires. He won tonight's grand final. Let's see if we can grab a few words. John, courtesy of the Notts and Derby and also the normal payout, you're going home with 450 quid in your pocket. How does that make you feel?
Happy anyway.
You almost won a Crewe last week, but it went all terribly wrong with about 3 laps to go, didn't it?
Well, yeah, we led till the last lap, but we think there was probably 21 laps. No, it wasn't really. No, yeah, we led a Crewe from start to finish, and then got last lap John Lund drove past me. I thought Wilford done the same, but he's a lap down, so I thought second.
So you didn't even know you were winning towards the end there?
No, I thought Wilford got past me, so I was chasing Wilford.
But in the early stages you were aware that you were picking up a tenner every time you crossed the line in the lead?
Yeah, he told me, that's why he went quicker.
Well, many congratulations then to the grand final winner, 4:41, John Law. John receiving his checkered flag and all the cash courtesy of the Notts and Derby Stock Car Supporters Club. If you want more information about the club, then grab Mr. Starter down here on the start-finish line or go to the banner over on the back straight. We still need the second and third to the start-finish line. That's Johnny Goodall, number 5, and Dave Johnson, 3 at 3. Meanwhile, we'll get on with the Brisca Club draw.
So much money, I don't know what to do with it.
What's the name?
Adam.
Adam and Emma. Had you?
Hey, Charles.
Just get this. Don't pause, bust the mic now.
The Brisca Club junior members down here. Adam.
The results to the grand final. That was won by 4:41 John Lawn. In second was number 5 John Goodall, and third place went to 383 Dave Johnson. In fourth was 53 John Lund. Fifth place went to 97 Murray Harrison. In sixth it was 212 Frankie Wayman Senior. Seventh was 21 Mark Gilbank. In eighth it was 169 Andy Clark. In ninth it was 113 Russell Humphrey, and 10th place went to 91 Will Fawns. This time we get the green flag on the stocks line. Grand National, 31 cars racing over 16 laps. And already the struggle here on the home straight. John Sage 159 goes in hard after tangling up with Gary Tressler 154. Those two cars parked up by the wires here on the home straight. And our lead car is 533 Phil Herzog. There's 154 Gary Tressler bails out of his stranded car here on the home straight. The lead is 533 Phil Herzog, the first of them. 334 Andy Kennedy also there, and there's a tangle there, and the leader's gone with Chris Poppington 419. Phil Herzog, the leader, crashes out in 533. Jim Potter 146 has spun it right around in the tangle with 24. Lisa Harter, that's on the exit of turn 2. Very narrow racing line indeed. All the reds flying by, and we caught one of them, the New Zealander Frank van Broenhoffen, and also the final winner 441 John Lawn in trouble. 338 Chris Brockstock's gone to the wires over on the back straight, and meanwhile we look down track to pick up our race leader, and he is on that back straight. That's 334 Andy Kennedy. 242 David Nichols in second, and 424 Mike Hayward third. So here come the leaders over the start finish line and into turn 1. 334 Andy Kennedy, 242 David Nichols, and 424 Mike Hayward. 1, 2, 3 on the charts. Oh, posse of Red Tops flying down the home straight and into turns 3 and 4. 33 Peter Falling briefly hooked up with number 5 Johnny Goodall, but he's got away. 334 Andy Kennedy, we think, is a lap down to 242 David Nichols is the race leader, although he's just losing out now to 424 Mike Hayward, who goes through to lead. It could well be that Mark Duxbury's also gone through to second in car number 234, demoting David Nichols 242 into third. Mark Duxbury with a bit of his aero 4 flying right off that 234 car, chasing the race leader 424 Mike Hayward. Numbers going in as
Harris 91, Will Prawns gives 175, Rob Pearce a hefty shove into turns 1 and 2. Bumpers also going hard on the novice driver 22, William Yarrow hits 419, Chris Pocklington around turns 3 and 4, but Pocklington's holding his line very well in there, battling with 242, David Nichols. William Yarrow in trouble again as he clips 175, Rob Pearce, and Pearce racing off the centre green, and Yarrow's gone into the wires, and Pearce also gone in 175 here at the exit of the home straight. Two blue top casualties, Pearce reversing across the line in front of Racing Pack 338. Chris Broxop spins around on the exit of turn 2. And it's 2-3-4. Mark Duxbury leads on the back straight. 2-3-4 the leader. So Mark Duxbury moving up the inside of a lap down 2:42. David Nichols on the home straight in the lead. He won a stop sign Grand National here at Long Eaton earlier in the season, and it's the halfway stage of this one. Lisa Hart to 24's in trouble. Dave Johnson 303 takes a hard into the wires over there on the back straight. Two more drivers gone over the back straight. We've already lost 533. Phil Herzog in an earlier shunt over there. We've got a spinner up on turns 3 and 4 where Will Fawns 91 was spinning, and 97 Murray Harrison shoved him back the right way around. Now Murray Harrison's gone in 97, he's tangled up with 424 Mike Hayward, lost 3 places as William Yarrow, Will Fawns and John Goodall shot on by. Murray's back racing again, and it's 5 laps next time for our race leader 234 Mark Duxbury. But it's 33 Peter Fawley in second, and he's not that far behind. Rob Pearce is a lap down in 175. So Duxbury must be able to see Fawley in his mirrors if he's going to win this Grand National. He's going to do extremely well to stay away from the Flying 33 car. Here's the race leader over the start finish line with 5 to run. 2-3-4 Mark Duxbury. 33 Peter Fawley's got a back marker between him and that first place, but they're closing. And it looks like 55 Finnegan's in third, not too far behind if anything should happen to the first 2 in the closing stages. And something else happened. Duxbury briefly in a tangle there, 2-3-4, and now Peter Fawley's right behind him. Duxbury's still in trouble with 175. Rob Pearce, Fawley's diving through past Rob Pearce, and he's going through the lead as Duxbury goes to the wires on turns 1 and 2. So it's Peter Fawley 33 who leads the stop sign Grand National. Rob Pearce still in between the first and second, but a lap down, and it's now 55 Bert Finnegan is second. Looks like 2-3-4 Mark Duxbury's in third spot, and that's the way they are with 3 to run in the stop sign Grand National Championship heat. 33 Peter Fawley leads from 55 Bert Finnegan. Bumpers going in hard as 97, Murray Harrison shoves 3-3-4, Andy Kennedy, and 22 William Yarrow towards the turns 1 and 2 wires, and Murray makes the place up the back straight. Peter Fawley also giving John Sage 159 a heavy dose, trying to get that back marker right out of the way. Peter Fawley leads this start sign Grand National with about a lap and a half to run, flying down the back straight and around turns 3 and 4. Will Yarrow 22 stamps on the brakes on the home straight as it looked like he was going to pair fast with it to the fence. And now with 1 to run, the race leader 33 Peter Fawley from 55 Finnegan in second. Fawley's on his last on the back straight. He's about halfway down the back straight with half a lap to run. Into turn 3 he goes, broadsided around turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag being prepared, and meanwhile Will Yarrow a big shot here on the home straight. Peter Fawley wins the Grand National. Will Yarrow 22 almost rolled over, tangling up with number 5 John Goodall. Peter Fawley avoided all the action and wins the start sign Grand National. Flash fire on the side of the 22 car, but Will Yarrow gets the engine started, puts the flames down, but quite a spectacular shunt there. Okay, we can have the red flags, please.
The results to the stock sign Grand National, won by 33 Peter Fawley. Second place went to 55 Bert Finnegan, and in third was 2-3-4 Mark Duxbury. In fourth it was 97 Murray Harrison. Fifth place went to 31 Dave King. In sixth was 91 Will Fawns. Seventh spot went to 113 Russell Humphrey, and in eighth was 53 John Lund.
rolling lap start. She's about to embark on 25 racing laps. 53, John Lund, the defending world champion, leads them underway on a slow, steady pace. It's the racing and 515 Junior Wayland has started through turns 1 and 2 with the world champion Des Chandler. And 153, and John Lund puts the bumper in once again. And he's going to have to tangle with 87 Neil Briggs. And that's the weapon through the top turn. 52 in an effort to keep 53, John Lund. And we have Leo as the starter. And 169, Andy Clark has him. And it's 515, Frankie Wayman, who holds the advantage over 53, John Lund. Straight into the wires on the top turn. And number 2 is out of the race. And the leaders are passing them everywhere. And we've got another rollover. 128, John White. Semi-finalist for the lead with just 2 laps to go this time. What will Frankie Wayman Jr. do? As both of them have been pulled in the air, cheering for all they're worth. And what will Frankie Wayman Jr. do? And it's the defending world champion, 53, John Lund, who takes this afternoon's semi-final race here. From 53, in third is number 2. A long way back and forth is 272 as 152 Andy Maynard spins out onto the infield. Next back marker for the leading duo to negotiate is going to be 87 Neil Briggs, and he's going to have to move out wide to let these hard-charging pairs through. Here's your leaders down the back straight once again. 515, but he's tangled with 87 Neil Briggs, and that's allowed Lundy through into the lead. Another lap complete, and it's the world champion who leads.
Going to be a night to remember here at Boston, ladies and gentlemen. Little ahead, holding them back. On the outside there in 309, wondering what's going to happen. Richard Mason obviously hoping to get a little bit of a flyer as he lets the gap open up on that grid just a little bit as they come round the turnstile. Then the green flag goes down, the power is coming on, and the second semi-final is underway with James being round from the outside. They're not all safely away. There's a problem down here. Let's see how this is. It was all going to happen. 3 or 4, he's got caught up as well. He's moved out of the way. The Lewis go through again. By his chances. The Carnival 86 5 next time for Dave Beresford. So it's all a question of waiting to see just at the end of the day when the short can be checked. Just having a problem with John Goodall at the moment in car number 5. It won't be too much of a problem because Dave Beresford will keep a tight inside line round the turnstile then with
They've got the green, the consolation semi-final is underway, and 4-2-4 Mike Hayward has spun out to the action immediately, and Graham Barr's gone in 35. Their world dream is over. Will Yarrow in second, 109, Phil Smith third, and Richard Mason 202 in fourth. And at the moment going to Bradford is 169 Andy Clark and 22 Will Yarrow. 169 Andy Clark the lead from 22 William Yarrow, 109 Phil Smith, 202 Richard Mason, and the first of the Reds to show is 55 around turns 3 and 4, and he's tangled up with 172 Stevie Hodgson. The leader's still 169 Andy Clark with 22 William Yarrow. In Peter Fording's forced his way through to second with 55 first, Finnegan third, and Fording's in trouble in 33 and he's gone! Peter Fording's crashed out of the 1992 World Series on the home straight, and 55 Bert Finnegan's gone as well. Clark that leads it over the home straight, and again they've gone up there on turns 3 and 4. 22 William Yarrow's gone with 109 Phil Smith, 2 Richard Mason. They're the two going to Bradford at the moment, and Hodgson's coming in hard on the race leader. And Andy Clark rides in and he's around turns 1 and 272, could well be lining the two up in front for the big one. All together up the back straight, 169 Andy Clark leads from 272 Richard Mason, and Andy Hodgson comes in and the leader's gone. Andy Clark tangled up with Richard Mason and he's gone. And 272 Andy Hodgson leads it over the start finish line with 30. Andy Hodgson that leads, and there's people tangling up right in front of him, and Hodgson's gone in 272. And 33 Peter Fording through to lead it from 128. John Wright in second in the leader. Peter Fording's in trouble in 33. And John Wright's gone out of second place in 128, and there's a big pile up. Frankie Wayman Senior 212 looks like he's going to come through in the lead, but the track's still blocked over there on turns 3 and 4. That's to run. And Peter Fording's running with a flat tyre in the closing stage in second. 128 John Wright is third, and that's the battle for Bradford. 33 Peter Fording loses out, and John Wright's gone through to second in 128 down the back straight for the last time. And it's Frankie Wayman Senior 212 who's going to come through to win the UK consolation semi-final. And 128 John Wright is going to take that second spot